Last time on the My Hero Academia podcast.
I guess depending on how the current arc goes, it might be the new favourite, unless the League of Villains.
Current arc?
You know, the current arc of My Hero Academia.
Oh, Class 1A versus Class B.
Yeah. Well, you just kind of
That one? That one?
Not too much of a spoiler.
Alright, but yeah.
That's the
That
title of the arc.
What is there to spoil? There's nothing happening.
Well, I don't know, it depends.
We're not exactly
depending
normal.
on how you like.
The arc is Provisional Exam Part 2. Now only 2 class.
Ooh, you're gonna start with that.
Fine, but let's see. But honestly, I mean,
It's literally just all action, no sputter, whatever you want to say it. I don't even know how you say it anymore.
I don't know. Let's see. For Life, it's not over yet. So
Because it's only 7 chapters. 7 chapters of okay-ish.
It's still ongoing. Supposedly it's ending next week. Supposedly. So, in terms of that, I got a special talk with one of our guests that we're gonna save for next week. But just know that we're coming for him next.
I'm probably going to be absent for next podcast discussion because these two are going to eat me alive.
Oh hell no! We're dragging you into the next one.
No. You gotta be in this one. You gotta be in the next one. You have to. It's a mandatory. It's a must. It's a fire. What's that word? Privilege thing. If you don't go here, you'll never be talking to us ever again. You'll be banned for everything that you ever attend to.
Man, oh man, oh man. I never thought this day would come. I never thought this day would come any faster, but holy shit, guys, we are finally here. We are finally here with the podcast that we've been building up to since the end of the Culture Festival arc. The potential best arc of the saga. The arc that'll get everyone back into high gear. Kicking off with shoot style. Did we live up to that? Well, did we? Hey guys, what's up? LuckyRave is back again to give you guys another My Hero Academia podcast. Really wasn't that long ago when we did the Pro Hero Arc podcast, so this should be fun. And like always, I can't really do these podcasts by myself. I mean, yes, I could technically, but what fun would it be just to have me here, like every other YouTuber, just talking about my thoughts when I could just talk about my thoughts with a couple buddies and just, spice things up. So now I'm going to let my special friends / special guests introduce themselves.
Greetings, this is Sparda3g, and I'm done. We'll get to the show right away, but first let this guy, who's about to be a dead man by the end of it, so introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm BlueStarSaber, and I'm getting the fuck out of here!
Oh, hell no! We are dragging your ass back here. Get over here.
No! I don't want it!
I told you. What I told you. You don't keep promises if you know you can't keep it. And now you have to deal with the price.
Oh, you mean like you when you're always late for these podcasts for life?
Hey,
That's the thing. It's better late than never. This is never.
Really?
It will never
You're
get
supposed
better.
to do this about a week ago, but you, the one who was insistent when we did it a week ago, didn't show up at all. So we had to delay
But
it.
I am
for a week.
sorry.
In his defense, this was the epilogue chapter, so it actually worked out for the better.
Yes, but let's see, you for life didn't really care if it was the epilogue. But there we go. But yeah, it was for the best. But yeah.
Again, his was a week ago. Yours was spread out for months and months and months.
5 weeks.
Yeah, where's your 5 weeks now?
Well,
Where's your 5 weeks now, Blue Star? It's dead and gone. Insert the song if you guys want to, but yeah.
Well, I'm out of here.
Oh no. No. Remember, you're the one who made the declaration that this would be potentially the best arc in the saga, right? Now you gotta suffer for it. Now you gotta suffer for it. And usually, what we do for the podcast from My Hero Academia is, we talk about our thoughts coming into this arc, after what happened in the last arc, and which is something we're going to do right now. But this podcast in particular is going to be a little bit different than how we've done things in the past for pretty obvious reasons. But I will start it off the same way I usually. Coming into this arc after coming up from the last one. Personally, the Pro Hero arc, I think, is, of course, the best arc in the saga. Not my favorite, but is the best arc in the saga. Favorite arc for me, of course, comes to the Culture Festival arc. But, coming off from the Pro Hero arc, I was like, all right, we're kind of getting back into where we were going. Not completely, but I was like, okay, so if Kohei can keep up this momentum for the next arc coming off from the Pro Hero, then we can definitely say My Hero's coming back. And the whole concept behind what this arc was showcasing, I wasn't really against initially, because all the other training arcs we've gotten, say the exam arc that we got, or, you could count the provisional license arc as an exam. Actually, no. Yeah, actually, no, that wasn't an exam. So, yeah, the provisional license arc, even though it's kind of got its pacing issues, you got that. And then, of course, you had some of the other training arcs that were happening in between the arcs, too. Like, the one training course that was happening, right before the sports festival. So, Kohei knows how to work out these particular training arcs. So, the fact that we were getting it, I'm like, all right, look, I'm not against it. I'm actually kind of intrigued by what we're going to get. Did we live up to that? Well, that's something we're going to have to talk about when we get to it. But, Sparda, what about you? What was your thoughts coming into this arc after coming out from the Pro Hero arc and the Culture Festival arc?
Well, it's not like I was super hyped, but it's more like, well, that was a good arc. Okay, it wasn't like how I reacted back with either the Hideout Radar or the Stain arc. When going into those arc, I was already have a good interest because the last arc was really stellar. They were like, oh man, Tenya just found out that his brother got injured really badly. And now we're going to this arc, and he looks so pissed off. I'm very, very curious what's going to happen with his character now. He seems like he's going to be the actual Sasuke, but that didn't happen. But he's going to be like those type of characters, those vengeance one. But then you got other things to worry about as well. You got Todoroki going to visit his mom. Like, what's the aftermath on that? You get the aftermath later on, but the point is, you wonder what he's gonna learn from this, what he's gonna develop from this. And then you got Deku, who didn't manage to get to first place because he lost earlier, and you wanted to see how he's gonna improve himself by meeting with Gran Torino. It's like, where this is heading. So this is all interesting because you already got a lot of interest from the previous chapter, from the previous events. Same thing for Hideout Ray arc. That training camp was pretty much a transitional arc, but it was a really good one because you got all the chaos going on. You had Bakugo getting captured, taken hostage, and Bakugo last said that don't worry about me. Well, not don't worry about me, but don't go after me or something like that. Pretty much saying Deku, get out of my business. It's like, damn, what is happening now? How this is all going to go down? Granted, I was afraid of Sasuke 2.0, but the outcome ended up for the best. But everything was all garnered interest because all the way how it's set up, how a lot of conflict is coming together right now. So I'm here thinking damn, and now can I wait for the next arc or whatever happened after that one? So with the joint training arc, I wasn't too thrilled. It was more well, it should be good. And just normal interest, kind of just your standard level of interest. All right, what we're going to go with this one? Oh, we're going to have Class A versus Class B. Well, at least they give a Class B a chance. So this should be probably interesting. It depends how it works. It should be fun. But it wasn't damn, I can't wait. I'm so pumped up after the Pro Hero arc and the Culture Festival one. I'm so ready for the next arc. I never have that impression because they're good arcs, but they never give me that strong firing feeling inside of me that really excited for the next arc, for the next event, whatever it is. Yeah, I know the joint training arc is the training arc. It's the training session. It's a school session. But back then, the school part of the series weren't that bad. They weren't that uninteresting, even if they're not plot development or story heavy. It could be character heavy still. It can give character. It could flesh out more characters. It could give them more development. But in here, well, it's a different story because like maybe with provisional license arc, it was not the worst. It's not too bad, but I thought it was kind of underwhelming. And I didn't feel like maybe the next training arc would be better. I mean, it gotta be better. It should be better. So in a sense, I guess I garnered some interest because at least with the joint training arc, it's only focusing on two class rather than having multiple schools with a lot of characters that you will forget after it's all said and done. And then we got to this arc, and well, the rest is history. So, Blue Star, based on the question that he asked me, how do you feel going into this arc from experiencing the last two arc?
Like, I was hyped. Yeah, it looked like this was like the perfect setup for like a sort of like a mini tournament arc. But yeah, or like a mini class rivalry arc thing, whatever you want to put it.
That makes sense. That's actually an interesting way to put it. And usually, what we go with the My Hero Academia podcast is we get our thoughts going into the arc, and then we all go around in a circle and just kind of talk about our thoughts. This one's going to be different because it's going to be an open discussion. The gates are going to be opening, and usually I start off with the good stuff. This one's going to be tough because we're going in reverse. So the negative aspects are going to be the thing that we really talk about with this arc because there was a lot.
You said you're going negative first?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, this is going to be a long one.
I'll start off with this. And I've been saying it for a long time, but the biggest culprit for the arc itself is the pacing. Like, it was fine in the beginning, but after a point, it was like, okay, and I get why the 13 pages were there because Kohei was dealing with like health issues. That's number one. And I don't know how much this is true, but supposedly he was like moving into like a different studio, so that could explain the other reason why you were having the whole stuff with pacing. But even then, I'm like, it just kind of made the arc drag out. It's what a lot of people complain about when it comes to the Uprising arc and Attack on Titan. The only difference between that arc and this arc is, the stuff that was actually going on in the Uprising arc is like actual, like, legit shit that is actually very crucial to the story. I'm not saying this arc doesn't do that. I mean, number two, this was a training arc, so it's not a fair comparison. But in terms of pacing, they're similar just in that aspect alone. But given that, I'm just kind of like, well, it was number one. For the other one, I'm kind of split on. But what do you guys think? Like, do you guys believe that the pacing of the arc was like the biggest culprit, or like one of the biggest culprits that was going on?
One of them.
Yeah, I feel like because it's like 13 pages. Granted, that was like every Dragon Ball chapter during the early days of like Akira Toriyama, and I'm not sure if he ever changed that style. But with modern day shonen, you kind of expect like 17 to 20 pages. The only thing I could really see like a 10-page ritzy issue thing being is when like it's US Comics when they're doing like a web series or like a mini series kind of thing. It's kind of like with Injustice. The comics, at least, they do like, they spread 2 comic book issues for like every week with 10 pages coming out each week. But but it doesn't really work for My Hero Academia because it's like a shonen manga, and like you usually expect a certain amount for weekly pacing for that. US Comics you can understand a bit because they take a bit more time doing their artwork with the colorings and stuff.
Well, with comic book, even though I'm not much of a comic reader, I do know that it does have a lot of timing to use, and with manga, they have like a weekly basis, so they never really have a break. I don't know how comic works, but I'm pretty sure they have much more open space than mangakas. At least in the Shonen Jump.
Oh yeah, I mean,
at least in the Shonen.
Shonen mangas are working to the bone, from what I've heard some people say.
Yeah, from Oda to anybody who's just started up with weekly Shonen Jump schedule. So yeah, it's pretty much that's the case.
From my understanding, Oda gets like 3 hours of sleep a day.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, Hiro Mashima gets 7 hours sleep a day.
Yeah, well, the difference
Well.
with Hero was that it was like because he's working in a different magazine. That's the other thing. I'm sure. I don't want to say Weekly Shonen Sunday is any better, but I do think that their standards are a little bit more tolerable than what Jump's providing for their mangaka.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, going back to about the whole pacing, it's definitely among the problem. To me, it's not the main problem. You could say it's like, I don't know, that's probably in the 5th of the top 5 problems of the arc.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely the pacing was very
I kind of feel like the pacing is the first
problem, you said?
because this was also like, let's see, yeah, it usually ends up being the first problem shown in an arc. Because remember the internship arc? It started out really good, then the pacing happened, and then all the bad stuff happened.
Well,
I don't want to say bad stuff happened in the internship arc, but
I don't know. It's just it seems to be becoming a recurring trend.
I mean, it's not. I mean, like if you say that, then you would just say like, okay, it could be fixed in anime with the pacing, and then boom, now the best arc ever. But if I were to say that's the main problem, but like, that sounds like I'm only being petty about it because of the whole pacing is so bad and draggy.
Definitely.
But for me, there's much more problem with this arc. But we get to that when we get to that. So in terms of pacing, yeah, that's among the problem. Not just because of the chapter length. Even one of them was like 10 chapters, 10 pages, excuse me. Yeah, one of them was actually 11 pages, but when you come down to it, the cover page was actually consists as one of the 11 pages. So therefore, the real content is only 10 pages. But not only that, but it in some form, it does resort to the Bleach situation, whereas it used so much space that it takes enough time that it doesn't have that much of a content to, like to be satisfied for a week. Like for example, I want to say 212, maybe it's 212, where it's pretty much Deku going berserk, and that's about it.
It was 212. I remember that.
Yeah, it was 212. Well, yeah, it was 212. It was pretty much Deku going berserk, and then he got stopped, and then he yelled out for Shinsho, and that was it. That nothing else more than that. There's literally nothing else you could come from that. And it makes it worse when you don't convey a very strong. What's that word I'm looking for? Like it doesn't have. To me, it doesn't have that strong visual presentation. Like yeah, the visual looks nice, but it doesn't. Well. Right, it doesn't flow very well, or it doesn't give me like that powerful feeling. Like, damn, look at the suffering of Deku's having. It's like more like I kind of seen this before, and it doesn't seem as problematic in my view, because maybe he's not really maybe because he's like, I don't know, maybe we seen worse. Maybe it just wasn't emphasized strong enough that it makes me care about too much of his problems. Like you don't see that, like you see in other series, whether it's Tokyo Ghoul or any other series that does a silent chapter, it could be like Blame or anything else, and it gives you that strong feeling, the impression. They give you that really great impression of his world, his environment, the expressions of the characters, and and even if there's not words or there's no speaking lines or anything like that, it still leaves you a good feeling. So you'd be satisfied. With this type of chapter, I wasn't satisfied, maybe because it just feels like either we seen worse or it just wasn't emphasized as good enough as I wanted to have. So yeah, pacing is still among the issues because like not just the length, but just the way how to execute for a chapter content. Like you got one battle that's pretty much 5 chapters long, but it could have been done in 2 or 3 even.
And that became like an ongoing trend with like each of the rounds. Because I remember it was like, oh cool, we're getting 5 rounds. First round, I was like, all right, I'm expecting it to be that long. But then once we got to like round 2, I was like, all right, it's okay, so it's similar. Then round 3 had it. And then round 4 obviously went off quick because fucking Bakugo. I mean, self-explanatory right there. And then 5 repeated the same thing. Huh?
I wish there was a happy character. Well, actually, technically, Krishna was the happy of the group. Why this battle is going faster than we thought? Because he's Bakugo. He's Urza.
Yeah, but
Dude,
Bakugo pretty much
I would have been like, that would
granted, I do think let's see the pacing helped in terms of the fight and Bakugo's character along
It
with the other.
did, but I think the
But
timing was
unfortunately,
bad because on one hand, it is good because the pacing did go by quick. On the other hand, the timing was bad because you just got back from one recommended student, and then we saw how great he is or how good he can be, how much benefits he can be for teamwork. So we got another recommended student, and she got steamrolled so
Oh
bad.
yeah,
It's
that's
almost
the one.
did.
Yeah, that was the one problem. Let's see, it made the B class group in that one not actually all that intimidating.
no,
Which is a
not
shame
one bit.
because it seemed
Talk
like
about
you got
bury
it.
alive.
Anyways, because
Honestly.
Class B rep from that one, it was like a female buggy, which was exciting actually. You got like a female buggy for My Hero Academia.
And yet,
That's
Buggy had more credibility.
Which is
funny
ironic
enough,
because Buggy's one of the weakest pirates in the series, though we have no idea what his actual strength is during the time skip.
but he's a clown. He is a clown.
I mean, he's a warlord now.
The man is a clown. He is funny. I'll give him that much. And that actually kind of brings into my next point, which is Class B. Man, what a disappointment. I mean, I was kind of looking forward to seeing what they could do, given that, it was a training arc between those two classes. I was like, all right, we're probably going to get to see some more stuff for Class B. But honestly,
I guess one of the biggest problems for Class B is that, there's only like 4 or 5 characters you actually care about in that group.
even then, here's the other thing, and it's not just this arc-wise, it's been story-wise too. Like, they haven't been in the spotlight for a very, very long time. So when you see them, you're like, okay, cool, we're seeing Class B again. It's been like a long time, but sure, like, you could say it kind of makes sense. So you're kind of like thinking, all right, given how long it's been, you're kind of curious seeing what they're gonna do. And I'm just gonna say this: the only purpose that Class B serves is that they were obstacles. That's it. Like the only characters I can argue that actually did have some stuff was Kendo during match 2 and Monoma during round 5. I'm pretty sure there's a couple other characters too. Like, I know some people like to say Tetsu, but Tetsu. Like, what more do you need to say than that? But I mean, some of the I will say that Class B has some interesting quirks, like Mushroom Girl. Like, she's interesting. I'll say that. Like, I like her abilities when it comes to that particular stuff. And then this one dude named Manga, like, literally, like,
he's literally a manga. He's literally a living manga.
He is. I was like, look at this guy. He's like, his name is Manga. I'm like,
now that's something you expect to see.
Boss.
I have to admit, this is something you expect to see in like One Piece, but yeah.
no. It's like, we got the manga character. I'm like, you mean Luffy? No, I mean manga. Okay. But what do you guys think in terms of Class B? Do you guys think Class B was like such a huge disappointment when it came to this arc?
Some of them were, some of them weren't, I think. I mean, the ones that we know about. I mean, for most part, the ones we know about. Let's see, what's the one that can grow out arms and legs and all that stuff? Kenda. I think she was done quite well. For Kenda. I think she was done quite well, and let's see, the metal one, the one that usually battles Kirishima, the one that's been compared. I'm trying to remember his name. The one that can turn his body to metal.
Yeah. I'll say this. The reason that Blue Star, the reason why Blue Star, huh?
No, wait. Hold on. Can I just finish my point first? But what's the name again?
Well,
can I just finish my point? Let's see.
It's Tetsu.
Yeah, sure.
Tetsu. Okay. I thought. Let's see. For the most part, he was done pretty well. Heck, he actually managed to be proving a challenge for like Shoto, which I didn't think was actually going to be possible, but because of how powerful Shoto is. But yeah, I thought that was quite well. The rest, they varied to position. I mean, the more minor ones, that's expected, but the ones that took more center stage, and the other fights were a bit disappointing. But anyway, go on. Make your point.
The reason why Blue Star was having trouble is because they're forgettable. And that's the one major problem. They're forgettable. I forgot a lot of character names. I forgot the hero's name. It was funny because I almost reviewed the latest chapter, the last chapter of the arc. And I'm like, oh shit, I just noticed they have a hero name right there, right when they lost. Okay, cool. I needed that. I mean, I understand there's people that like the lore, even if it's very bleak, but I understand people likes it. I just wish it was done in a different way, or more like done when they're at the momentum.
I feel like what could have benefited this arc is if, like, beforehand, Class B got like a spin-off manga series which follows their exploits while Midori and his lot are doing their thing and they're doing their thing. You could even make it more, slice of life manga compared to the actual, My Hero Academia in a sense.
But Blue Star, we already have a spin-off manga. It's called Vigilantes.
Well, yes. Okay.
I'm gonna make this controversial statement. Vigilantes is doing better. I will make that stance right now.
Fair enough, but it's not like a manga can have more than just one spin-off going on at the same time. I mean, look at Attack on Titan and Fairy Tail. They had multiple spin-offs going on during their later years.
Well, yeah, definitely with Fairy Tail. I remember they got like Sabretooth. We got Favortooth, Gray's Pass, Wendy's Side Story, the girl.
Gadgil. The girls.
Gadgil, yeah. It was like everybody's getting everybody.
And also, I suppose, Fairy Tail Zero as well.
Yeah, but Fairy Tail Zero is like the main one, though. The other ones are kind of like...
Yeah, it's pretty much the Kakashi Gaiden. In other words, you need this.
Yeah, but let's see. They could have done this with My Hero Academia with like Class B, so that this way, if you follow that manga series as well, you could, or like you could like oh yeah, this is kind of cool. Let's see, it's kind of like with like comic books, with like they have like multiple comic books and stuff, and when an event comes, you have all these crossovers, and it's like, oh, this is cool. Well, granted, not all the comic book events are that good. Good ones are like Secret Wars, the original, and bad ones are like Civil War. But anyway, go on.
Go figure. It says the comic, and not the comic. The movie itself is like a different story. But yeah, I get what you're saying though.
But that just shows you how underwhelming they are too. Is the fact that because and especially with Kendo, because Kendo we didn't see since the exams arc right before the summer camp arc. That was like the last time we saw her.
One of the major problems I have is like what you said. There were more of obstacles, and there definitely were. Because here's the thing. Even though everybody gets their attack, even though everybody gets their screen time, and even though there's a lot of characters I don't know, which I guess the only best way to make them relevant will be having a battle at Shigi. I don't know how you pronounce that place, but the place that the first wall, let's just go Wall Maria arc from Attack on Titan. If you get what happens, if you understand what happened in that arc, if you know what happened in that arc, well, you get the idea what kind of treatment I want them to have. Anyway, my problem is that
I don't have a problem with this arc. Let's see for the Class B. It felt more like an introduction than an actual rivalry battle.
Which is funny because we already get introduced to them like early on in the series.
Right.
Let's see, granted, only a few of them were already properly introduced in that arc, but it's like, at the same time, you're reintroducing them again. And this one feels like, this is a bit late, isn't it? But anyway, go on.
Let's see, 200 chapter.
Yeah?
Say what you will about
2 centuries, Blue Star. 2 centuries.
And then say what you will about Naruto. It did introduce the Rookie 9 quite early into the series. Like the other game.
Oh, yeah.
Look, Red Secret, yeah.
Even Bleach did that with the Soul Reapers. Like, they introduced them pretty early on.
You got a good point there, too. But here's the thing. Like, these characters, there's just more obstacles. They were more of a problem for Class A to deal with. And there's not really much of anything that left a good impression, unless you want to count about their attacks. Their attacks. Oh, their skills are so cool. Oh, they do this. Oh, they did that. They saved this. They stopped them. They win this battle. Whatever. but they never leave a strong impression of their character because they're not fleshed out. They're not like anybody could do, huh?
Actually, the only ones I can think that I kind of consider memorable from like the ones that we don't really know about is that one that can churn into a giant beast, the manga, and the mushroom one, which we were talking about earlier. But go on.
They weren't fleshed out enough, or not fleshed out at all, because a lot of characters can do whatever the same thing that these characters has done. Like, oh, I gotta stop them. Oh, I gotta not lose the team. I can't lose. I can't let the team lose. Everybody could fill that shoe, but you need to have these characters with motivation. You need to have these characters to have a reason to try to be the best in this certain scenario, or try to show their improvement. Because every time these teachers keep saying like class A has improved a lot, but so does class B. So it's like, okay, I want to see that. You can't resort to tell. You got to show me that too. You have to show me that these characters does have a reason to be here, or a reason to show off, and a reason to win this battle. And I don't mean like the whole, oh no, Monoma really wants to be the winner because hey, everybody is like, everybody in class A is always being like the number one in terms of for everyone's eyes. I mean, yeah, you get some Monoma part later on, but that's later on. But when it comes to the entire overall characters, these guys don't really have that much to offer. The only one that really offers are the characters that we already know and already got focused. So pretty much what we got right now is the one that gets focused in Class B in terms of at least of some depth will be Tetsu, Kendo, and Monoma. I mean, that's fine, but it almost seems like a reverse parallel universe of Class A, which in that case, it will be Deku, Shoto, and Bakugo. And that's fine, but you're going to start having more of these characters to have more influence or more of a motivation in order for us to care about them the next time we do more training, or the next time we get a serious arc that involves with those characters. So it's like everybody gets their one each. But, you know, these characters didn't leave much of an impression for me. Didn't leave any of that much of a strong impression that want me to see them more, because I don't know much more of them. I only know about their attacks. And you can't tell me like, well, you know, maybe when we get a serious arc, we will see a fleshed out version of them. Like, well, usually you would have fleshed out before you get to the serious arc. I mean, that's how it worked back then. That's how it worked before the sports festival. We know these characters. We're starting to learn the motivation. Like, for example, in the sports festival, right before the sports begin, we found out what Ochaku is there for. We know what she's there for. We know what she wanted to do. It sounded weird and it sounded really odd, out of context, about money. But when she narrows down the reason, we get behind her. Tenya, he loves his brother so much. And you know, he wanted to be, he pretty much look up to him like a hero, like his own very own hero. So that's fine. That's great. He wanted to be the second runner. No pun intended. That's awesome. Deku, you already know Deku. He's the main character. Bakugo, well, you know, this guy is pretty douchey, but you know how he is. Shoto, it has to do with the family dilemma. And that's what we find out about his family situation. So a lot of things you get motivated to care about these characters. Now with this one, you go straight to Class A versus Class B without any really reason. Like, there's no real reason why we even have this. They never really established that. They just did it because why not? You know, it's not like Provision or License Arc. Listen, we need new heroes right away. We lost All Might. We need All Might. We need another comer of All Might. If not, we need more heroes. So please do your thing. And hopefully you pass this exam. So not only you get your wish, but we also be safe. It's fine. That's cool. Sports Festival Arc. To introduce all these characters. That's fine. That's cool. And get the recommendation from a lot of teachers across the continent, not the continent, the country. Awesome. All right. What I learned from Joint Training Arc, I don't remember anybody saying what is the benefit besides just doing more training, but the training doesn't. The funny thing about the training, it almost felt like it almost felt like the writing forgot that the only way to win, or not only way, actually you could win by beating them up, but everybody resorts to beating them up or make them like submit, like, oh, I quit because I'm stuck, oh, I give up because I got knocked out. Only 1 or 2 times you see them get captured. It's like there's no point of just capturing them. If they're knocked out, they're knocked out. So the capture thing seems like a very farce thing that wasn't even needed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got Monoma against. Yeah, you got Monoma pre jail, but that's only because it needed to be 4-on-4, and it needed to have that focus of like, hey, look, you got Monoma getting caged up because Ochaku. You got this girl get assassinated. Well, I'm not being 100% serious, but she got knocked out by Ochaku. You got this other girl who got stuck by the ball because Minata does that. You got Shoryuken by Mina. And then you got tied up by Deku. Boom. That's all their wins. That's why they did that in the first place. And I get that. That's neat in writing, but in Blueprint it sounds neat, but the way how it was executed was poor. But again, this Class B just doesn't leave me a good impression because none of them are really like giving me that motivation to care about them. All I know is they're there to show off their quirk, and that's the end of it. There's no more like that. It's like the same thing for Provisional License arc. Yeah, you got Inasa, but everyone else is just there to be there and to show off a lot of techniques. There's only one and done. Because these guys don't have a creative. These guys don't have these creative views of their technique. Much like how One Piece always do something unique within something that should not be that unique, useful. But that's the creativity brain behind it. And of course, I'm not gonna go on the whole big controversy that 213 brought, but we'll get to that soon. So, bottom line, I just didn't care about Class B because they never gave me anything to care about. Let alone the fact this whole training didn't really benefit anything outside of revealing that brand new perk that this kid ended up having. But we'll get to that soon. So I don't know. I didn't care much of a Class B. Yeah, there's Monoma. It'd probably be the only character I'll probably give it a 2 care of. I don't know. Probably, maybe. We'll see what happens later in the future. But other than that, everyone else is just pretty much there just to be there. That's it.
Well, that kind of brings us to the next point, and that's the rounds. Not all of them. Let me be specific. Not all the rounds are bad. But it's kind of something I realized, like, just seeing as the arc was progressing, and I'm just kind of sitting here thinking, like, okay, so I get some of the situations with the rounds, but like I said, the pacing was the biggest thing, and it kind of made the rounds a little uninteresting. Some of the rounds weren't just that engaging, at least to me, because, like, once again, in round 4, which is the quickest round, like, we don't really get to see a lot from Class B. They got bodied faster than Thanos snapping his fingers to take out half the population. It was faster than that. I was like, okay, I guess we're done with that round.
You pray that's not too soon. Come on, guys. The second part is about to come out. You have to be already aware of the situation. Yeah, I hope we're not spoiling because I'll be.
By the way, it's kind of sad that the teacher Senjuku Kan has more personality than his entire students.
Yeah, pretty much. I hope we didn't spoil you about what he just said right now. I mean, you technically have 3 months grace period of like not being spoiled before everybody's used it as a joke or a meme, which it did, especially with the whole "I don't feel so good" scene.
Without spoiling what exactly happened in that scene, but yeah, much faster than that. It's like, okay, it was much faster than that. Cool. There was a structure with these rounds because it was like, all right, 5 chapters, next round, or okay, maybe not 5 per se, but at least 3. There was at least 3 chapters per round, and you're like, all right, but that's normal. Normally, that's true, but you also got to take into consideration that we were dealing with a 13-page structure for a very long time. I mean, you could. Well, I don't recall how many pages this particular chapter had, but it was more than what we usually have with this arc. And because of that, it kind of made the rounds just, like too dragged out. If you want to use the word dull, you can use dull. But to me, that just made the rounds kind of unappealing. And here's one thing I said about the Culture Festival arc and why it said it was my favorite arc. Outside of like it being, okay, it was Deku taking on a villain on his own after getting his license. that was the first time we ever see that happen with him. One thing I'll say about his fight with Gentle, which I do think is one of the best fights in the series. Maybe not like the top 3, but within the top 5.
It was probably one of the most creative fights that happened in My Hero Academia.
Yes, and that's the important thing, because that arc had the unique factor that the series initially had, and I was like, "Yo, that's actually pretty cool." Even
Also the villain that had no form connections to the League of Villains.
Even the fight between Endeavor and Hyan, to an extent, was unique in its own way. So I was like, "All right, that's kind of cool." So Kohei's at least bringing that back up. And this, I didn't feel like there was that much of it. That's just me, but how do you guys feel? Like, do you feel like the fights were like that unique? Again, when you look back at like the last 2 arcs?
No.
Let's see. I feel like they were both boss battles in a sense. Let's see, with like Midoriya versus Gentle and
Worst
Endeavor
boss battle. Oh, you talk about those 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Those 2.
Yeah, those 2 were like boss battles, really. Well, the rest of them were just like the standard 2 to 3 chapter shonen battle thing. That would probably make up at least 1 episode. It's usually, but yeah. Granted, Midoriya's one lasted a little bit, but that's more because of like what happens with his abilities and stuff, which we're probably not going to go there yet, or we're not going to mention it at all out of rage or spoilers. I do feel like, let's see, on one hand, I can see if all the fights happened at the same time, it would have done a bit more tension. But at the same time, I understand why he had like one fight going on at the time, because, let's see, he wanted to have Shinzo in 2 different fights, one for Class A and one for Class B. Let's see, because that so in a sense that should have helped Shinzo better, because they get one fight. Let's see, before like his rematch against Midoriya, where you get to see how his abilities improve or how he's going to fight, and then you'd see the final fight with him and Midoriya. You see like, okay, round 2, Midoriya versus Shinzo. How will this go down? Granted, let's see, the pacing is what probably killed it and stuff in certain sense, but yeah, perhaps maybe. I suppose perhaps one thing that could have helped the fights if they hadn't been nearly as predictable as they were going to be. Well, granted, I think the only one that was not, that sort of surprised me was the 3rd round, when instead of like a victory or a loss, it was a draw. That was about it.
Because we can't have Class B have any wins. It's even the 2nd one where they say, no, she was the coolest girl ever. But I digress. Seriously.
Oh my
God. You appreciate your own freaking win? Come on, man.
Let's see.
It reminds me with the whole sorcery. Sorcery was, I wouldn't say God tier, but let's just call it God tier, because Akatsuki was meant to be God tier. They're meant to be threatening as hell. So he's the only battle that ends up being like, damn, it's a struggle for those 2. But everyone else, solo.
Well, honestly, I would not necessarily call all of the fights solo. I mean, let's see. Okay, let's see.
Except for the zombies.
Let's see. Well,
except for the zombie. Well,
okay.
he got taken solo. But Kakazu's the only one until Naruto says, so no.
Let's see. Okay, yeah. I suppose the problem with like the rest of the Akatsuki is that they ended up fighting, like, for most part, the protagonist Naruto or the rival Sasuke, which
but here's the difference, though. At least with Naruto, the fights were at least engaging. I can at least give Naruto that credit. Like, yeah.
But like going back to the argument about is the fight predictable or something like that. I mean, like, maybe in some form, yes. But I think my main real problem is the formula is very structured. It's very similar to every other battle. And I know you will say this is how shonen work. Yeah, but some shonen has a better payoff than what My Hero has done. But
the fact that it's a training arc, that's another argument here. Like, oh, but it's a training arc. I'm like, yeah, I know it's a training arc. But My Hero has done so much better with the arcs. Like, again, I go back to the final exams arc. Like, that was a pretty clear-cut example as to how a training arc should be done. So, if you're comparing that to this, it pales in comparison.
Right. One of the problems about the fighting structure is the fact that it happened 5 times in a row. The fact it happens back to back to back to back to back, meaning that you actually see it yourself rather than you get a cooling period. For example, if you compare it to Naruto, like you got the third exam for the tuning exam.
Mhm.
Now, in some way, it has that formula, but there's a lot of more story to tell, and it's very engaging. But not only you just have Neji versus Naruto, then you go to Shikamaru versus Tamari, and then you go to Gaara versus Sasuke, and it's a different story in terms of like the climax, in terms of like the conflict. They have a different struggle, the different style. It's all like, aha, you see my real power now. What you gonna do? Oh wow, okay, your real power is really good. And then this is a fight to the death. You know, it's not like that. Instead, it's like, wow, this is a very convincing equal combat. And then shit happens, which ends up canceling the entire tuning exam. This one, there's no cancellation. You literally see it back to back to back to back with the same structure. First, I'll show off my quirk. Then you show off your quirk. We're struggling. Then we make a good comeback. And then from there on, we probably win or we probably draw. And then most of the time is win because 3-1. The draw, I don't know why it was there to begin with. The more I think about it, I feel like it was just well, actually, I do know why it's there. It's only to make Tenya and Shoto to feel like they're not ready yet, which they're not. That's understandable. But the reason why they made a draw is to make sure they have to taste a loss or taste not victory because they need to establish that they're still not ready to carry the big torch. That the no pun intended for Shoto. They had to carry the big torch soon. But they're not ready yet. I get that. I don't know what I don't know what's the deal with the loss with Momo. You want to bury her more? Sure, go ahead. I don't care anymore. But again, you look at the all 3 battles. It's the same structure. It's the same style. You show all your guys' quirk. You show all my quirk, and then we start having an equal battle. Maybe not, which barely has any equal. It barely has any equability. Is that a word? Basically, it just doesn't feel as like I'm not saying you should have the same style how Dragon Ball fighting ending goes, because the fighting ending goes. It's funny because as much as Dragon Ball is like crazy over the top and you know somewhat similar to many things, at least the end game process is always different, and a lot of them always end up being like not as like I gotta focus on this powerful attack, the most powerful attack or the latest power up I just gained and I could win this all. But instead it's like, well, shoot, I lost all that power. I guess the stamina is the final thing to end it all. This is the reason why Naruto versus Pain, the final part was actually pretty damn amazing. Even if people sometimes don't like it, the fact that it was Rasengan that ended, but it's the context that made it captivating. It's the same thing with Luffy versus Lucci. There's a reason why people love that fight because it's all based on stamina. It's all or nothing. There's no such thing like, I got a random gear 4, even though that should have been saved way later, but I just got it just now. Take that, you evildoer. You know, it's nothing like that. It's more like shit. This is like the real equal battle. So when it comes to the equal battle for My Hero, it's still anticlimactic. It feels so damn anticlimactic, especially the 5th battle. The 5th battle was so underwhelming. It's just it kind of cherries on the. It's pretty much the cherry on the top of why this arc wasn't that good, because of that kind of underwhelming delivery of a final part of the battle. And that was the same thing for every other one. Every other one are underwhelming for the final end game of the battle. Maybe Battle 1 and maybe even Battle 4 had a good one. Battle 3 could have if you just ended the draw when everybody when this guy destroyed a tower in order to knock everybody in there. That could have been a good ending, despite being a draw. It could have been a good ending. I would have been like, oh, okay, nobody wins. But instead, you have this other random battle with characters I don't care. Huh?
I was gonna make a quick joke in about let's see. No, wait, I have to have one more chapter for this fight. I was making a joke.
Yeah,
no.
Pretty much. No, sorry. No, but that's what he did. That's what he pretty much did.
It's kind of like with Naruto Obito's death. Oh, he's dying. It's so sad.
Oh, God.
Back as a
ghost. Yeah,
that.
That send-off was good, too, now that I think about it. That was a good send-off, except for that one part, but yeah.
Yeah, then that scene happened. But again, you go back to the battle, all these battles, all these end game part. It's just don't have that much energy in there. Again, third battle had the most potential, and then they screwed it up by going further with characters I really don't know who should I care about, because all of them are completely fleshed out. Nobody has any much character outside of the design. So the only thing the Pony did was just say, screw this. I'm making a draw. I ain't gonna and that's funny because even though that's a draw, you could argue the fact that she was overwhelmed and she would have lost if she would have kept fighting. It goes to show you class 1A continue to bury 1B wholeheartedly. Because again, I don't see how I should really care about Class B in terms of power, in terms of characters, in terms of relevancy. I just don't see it.
I just think the problem is that he put all the powerhouses into like Class 1A compared to like Class B. Granted,
right. But even
granted, I suppose you could argue he could have been a bit more creative and actually create a few powerhouses for Class B. But I guess I suppose one problem is that it's like in previous arcs, you had Class A dominating for like the sports festival and stuff. Yeah. But never mind.
The other thing is like some of these characters in Class B like literally just got introduced into the arc. Like we didn't even know about these cats until now. That's another problem. That was what the arc is like. Okay, yeah, it was cool to see Tetsu, Monoma, Kendall, but all the other characters? Again, my point goes back to manga. Like
manga.
Like this dude's here, I'm like, so he wasn't in all the other arcs? I mean, yeah, he's Class B, but
let's see, let me check. I'm just seeing when he first appeared. Class B. Let's see.
I don't know about the Mushroom Girl.
I actually thought when I first saw manga he was like invisible, but he actually appeared in 26.
Oh, did he?
He actually appeared in 26.
Damn.
Okay, how about okay? I think the better. I'm sorry. I think the better way to say it is properly introduced. More so than like you're just a background character, right? Yeah, all the way in the fifth row.
That's what the problem is.
Kind of like how the K9 when the Rookie 9 and Team Guy were introduced. They were backgrounds for one chapter, and then later they were introduced.
Right. That or like how Haikyuu has these characters. Like they have players from different team, but we just know they're from different team. So when they get to the tournament, it's like, oh, it's that guy, and this is his team. That's cool. And then you actually flesh them out as well as the character that was separated from the team. So it's like a win-win situation. It's like, yay, I'm gonna learn more about them. Why you couldn't do this for Class B then?
Honestly.
I don't know. Let's see.
See, here's something else that would have been better. If we had like an arc with Class A and Class B beforehand, and then we get this arc, maybe it could do something.
Technically, we did with like the camp one, but it was a bit. But let's see. But just as Class B was introduced, the villains arrived and stuff.
Yeah, it pulled a Black Clover style. All right, we got new lore. All right, we're in the scene, new characters. Everyone under attack.
Like, oh shit.
Yeah, like that Dragon Ball Z Kaya bridge. We have no time. Get your first are coming. What? When? Right now. Like, oh damn. Okay.
Let's see. I wonder, could you also count One Piece's Dressrosa arc as a similar example, or with like introducing?
Well, if the latest arc,
One Piece, it's the fact that the characters for One Piece, like, see, when you go to different worlds, you could say it's that different lands. Let me use that as an example. Different lands, different islands, whatever. You expect to get introduced to new characters, so it's not like it's not like, oh, where were they last arc? No, but with Class B, again, we knew about them, but it's like you brought up again. Chapter 26 is where we see some of these characters, right? And we didn't get them until now. Like, okay, well, what are we at right now? 216 chapters, right?
Yeah.
So, for 190 chapters, nothing on some of these characters. Again, Tetsu we saw in Sports Festival. We saw Kendo a couple times. I'll give Kendo props where it's due, and Monoma too, occasionally here and there. But these other guys.
Let's see, but I suppose it was like I was saying earlier. Let's see, the only one of the solutions I think you could have like dealt with this arc is if like you gave Class B a spin-off. Let's see, that at least you got to see what they did and stuff, and then have it cross over with this arc. But yeah, or your idea of having an arc beforehand, but that didn't happen. But yeah, I pretty much agree.
I don't know. It's like I said. There's a great potential. There was a great potential, but I just don't know why it wasn't utilized well. I mean, like, that's my problem with.
No, maybe it was just health issues. Maybe he was moving to another manga, or maybe he just didn't think. But yeah,
well, it's like what I said for a lot of mangas, where they get to passing into the 100 chapters, or passing to the point that you could argue to be the peak, which in this case would be the Hideout Radar for many people, but. When you pass that peak, you're in the level where it's pretty much people will ask, "What else you got?" And whenever that happens, should try to deliver the same level, if not just a little below it, but you don't fall apart or you don't really struggle that badly. Because that's the way I see it with the current situation. It's like, damn, I feel like you could have handled this better. Or like, damn, it felt like all your great mind, like somewhere in that brain where you really wanted to execute this type of story has been executed, but then you're up to this point and like, shit, I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I'll think of something.
As much as people complain about Fairy Tail, the thing I'll give Fairy Tail a lot of credit for is its side characters, because we know that they're all pretty relevant throughout the story. I mean, again, we see Jalal in the Tower of Heaven arc.
Hello. Let's see. Go on. Make your point before I say my thing. But go on.
And we see him. I mean, again, yeah, we have the whole Mystican plot, which is kind of, you think, okay, it's Jalal, but then we find out later on that it's Mystican. My point stands that at least when you have that in particular, like, you remember them for what they did, and like when we do see him again, like, you're adding something new to the characters. It's not like, oh, like we're just here because they're here. I mean,
I feel like Mystican was a bit wasted in potential, at least, but I don't know, or like we just didn't see enough of him. But go on.
But no,
wait, is that the guy that just got defeated in one shot or whatever like that?
Mystican, like the X class that was from like the Elseworld, Gerald.
Wait, I'm thinking a different character altogether then.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah.
Who are we talking about right now? We're talking about villains or good guys?
Let's see. I think
I'm thinking villains, like that Mist guy who literally just got one shot off screen.
I think you're thinking of that Sabretooth guy that got taken out by Jura. The from the freeway battle between Luxus, let's see, the Sabretooth and Jura.
Oh, wait, we're talking about Fairy Tail. That's why we're getting I got confused.
No, I was bringing up that comparison because
I do think, let's see, some side characters like Elfman didn't get much to do after the Grand Magic Games and stuff, but hey, I'm just...
okay, but you got a good amount still. If I could remember perfectly, the one that stays in the wavelength will be, obviously, Natsu, Lucy, Gray, Urza, and then when it comes to side character, it'll be Juvia, Wendy. Well, Wendy's technically the main character in the sense.
Yeah, Wendy has like a main character.
Yeah, Gajil, Jial, Laxus. It's like that's a lot more character than I could say 3.
Oh yeah,
I think these people follow the same wavelength. And Kana. But my point is that everybody's in the same wavelength, so nobody feels left behind. I'm still not convinced everybody's in the same wavelength when it comes to My Hero, because everybody who gets their shine, quote unquote, is during the training. I want to see when they're in the real situation, because if you introduce that to our world or to this world, the real situation. Basically, is no longer like, hey, it's 100% slice of life, like what Hitman Reborn almost was until they decided to go action. It's like when you introduce that concept, then that means you got to do that with these characters. Even Gintama has to do that.
I think the only one I can think of between Midoriya, Shoto, Ida, and Bakugo that kind of shined in the real world, let's see, is Ijo Kirishima from like the internship arc. He actually got moments to shine in the outside world.
Right. Which now it brings to this point.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like these characters it feels like there's this trend where it has every one character gets one. Mm-hmm. Meaning when you have this character in there, despite you got like bunch of other characters, whoever gets that focus will be the focus. We'll have that focus. I mean, like for example, joint training arc. Yes, every other character is there, but in the end of the day, it's Shinsho's arc. He's the focus. Internship arc. In terms of Class A, it'll be Krishma, and that's it. Forget Ochaku. Forget Suyu. Forget the other ones, and you follow with Mirio because he's introduced in this arc. So why not? You go Culture Festival arc. Despite Deku is doing the fighting, we know Jiro can't do any fighting because I don't know. I guess it's Jiro. Who cares? Well, I care, but the point is, it's kind of like, damn, you could have given her the battle, but instead you give her this. I mean, it's fine. Pro Hero is in Denver. It's 100% in Denver. But he's a new character, but in Denver. So it's like it has that 1-by-1. So it's not like you could share with many other characters. It's not like you're going to be like, okay, next arc, we're going to bring Ochaku, Shoto, Bakugo, Tenya, and Deku into this arc. They're going to go against the League of Villains because they found out the hideout and they must do this. We got to watch out. Oh, also, they're going to bring other pro heroes. And you got these 5 characters. You might only get 1 or 2 because there's Bakugo and Shoto. The other 2, they will be neglected for just doing some other things because there's a policy that you can only focus on 1 character at a time, which is honestly nonsense because I'm reading a series that literally give every single character a benefit of a development.
Right.
So you can't tell me that you can't do that. Black Clover, a generic series that many would like to say, is doing that. You're telling me you can't do that. You can't do a generic idea. You telling me that? Because I find that BS. And that's true.
And a lot of people are like, oh, My Hero Academia breaks the mold of what a shonen does. I'm like, you sure? Because this arc didn't tell me that.
Let's see. Well, it did for the first 100 chapters. Well, it did for the first 100 chapters.
But that's my point, though, is that was the UA beginning saga.
Uh-huh.
And again, the only time I can say that it did that when the Rise of the Villain saga is, again, two points. The Culture Festival fight with Gentle and Deku, and then Endeavor versus High End. That's it.
Truth be told, it was never that unique. It was never unique, but it was just done nicely. It was just done well. Now everything just seems so basic that maybe either it was never that unique. Not unique. Like again, I don't think it was unique. I just thought it was properly done well. But maybe because the formula has been now on the surface of like, oh, there's so many flaws in this thing, or maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's getting too old, or maybe he's just started to not to do whatever that makes it very different, according to how fans would like to say unique. It's like One Piece, for example. Like if you were to say like, oh, the creativity is unique, which is, to many is true. I mean, it's not. I can't say it's 100% fact, but I can say it's definitely unique to my eyes because I don't rarely see this creativity. And I read a lot, but point is like maybe there will be like that because like I remember how like some people found the structure, which the structure does remain somewhat similar, if not a lot same, in compared to the other arcs for One Piece, but it's always the context that really stands out the most. So with My Hero, it feels like you see the structure is the same, but the problem is it's the context remain the same. So there's no real consequences. There's no real like tension behind it. And it doesn't help that Deku has become this strong that we hardly get a real hanging on the thread struggle battle. So everything feels like he's always going to be the triumphant no matter what he does.
I'm not sure if fights are really My Hero Academia strong points. To be honest, it's more of like the emotional, responses and stuff. I suppose it's like, oh my, and all for one. Let's see, all for one. Let's see, is it one? Oh yeah, all for one. I think it's more of like a hero's last stand thing. All his abilities exposed and stuff. But for me, the fights were a bit of a mix and a mixed bag. Even the first
Too
one,
much of a mixed bag.
the first one, was enjoyable for enough because it was just like a standard thing. Oh, you're seeing Shiso's powers, and you're seeing Surya work with like Shinso and Denki work with him again. Granted, I was a bit surprised how Kirishima got knocked out during the fight, but hey. But regardless, it worked out quite well. It was a standard fun, opening fight. Then when it get to like, Momo's fight, it's a bit dragged, and it felt like it was focusing on the wrong stuff. I mean, it's mainly focusing on Toriyama. The bird dude. And I will admit, it actually did have a few. I did actually kind of like how he used his like dark shadow to gain wings, and the girl's mushroom abilities. But I don't know. Other than that, I don't really find anything memorable in that fight. And with like the third fight with like Shoto and Ida, there's so much emphasis on Shoto. It kind of felt, they were trying to hype it up too much, but it was a bit underwhelming when you finally got the result. And he looked like a sort of like, it was like he was trying to do like a Saiyan hair thing, but it doesn't really work with Shoto's because it's how, for most part, simple it is, with the exception of like half of it's red, half of it's white.
My skin is cold. I'm sorry.
Let's see. The thing that was more engaging about that fight was, the thing that was engaging with that fight was Ida, because like this was like the first time you saw Ida fight in a long time. In many ways, it feels like the focus should have been more on Ida than Shoto. Yeah, Bakugo's actually that was pretty fun. I think that was probably the most well structured and probably the best fight thing. Granted,
it was the shortest. I'll say that. It was definitely the shortest.
Yeah, that as well. It's like 2 chapters. But I do like how Bakugo.
Almighty push.
Still like the main. Still like the main OP thing, but how they used like the others for support was actually quite well. In some ways, I wish that Naruto did that. When it came to its side characters and stuff, at least in terms of Bakugo 4 thing. Now, the Midoriya, it's in Ochika, the final round. I think I actually like it a bit better than both you and Lucky Chi and 4 Life. Granted, I will admit, part of it does have a bit of structural problems, as it was like, doing that thing with Midoriya's quirk at first. I do actually like some of the fight scenes. Oh, I will admit, Ochiko. I wish they shown a bit more. I know, you were both kind of disappointed this one scene where originally when Ochiko was about to try and grab Momomo, but then that got interrupted and Midoriya had to save her kind of thing, which is like, damn it.
Like, holy, like, I looked like a fool when I reacted to the chat. I was like, oh, we're gonna get some stuff. I'm hyped. And then, literally 2 panels later, I'm like, oh, Kohei, why? What the hell, man? What the hell?
Let's see. And not to mention, it seems like Kohei was focusing more on a particular thing with that panel, but
yeah, which you, by the way, we're like, oh my, look at this.
I was not. I was just saying how noticeable it was. It felt like
maybe if it was so.
It was kind of like Fairy Tale's level of noticeable.
Okay, I wouldn't go that
No,
far.
it's not. That's a lie.
That's
The
right.
very noticeable is that it has to show bare skin and cleavage. That's noticeable. What
No,
you
again,
did, you were literally just pointing out bit by the time you saw it. I'm like, damn.
Again, the chapter after the Sun Village arc.
Stop interrupting me.
After that arc, you're telling me it was that noticeable?
Okay, would you two stop interrupting me? Let's see. I feel like I'm still on mute. Let's see. Anyway. But okay, fine. Maybe that was the wrong choice of words. Okay. Well, not as obvious as like Fairy Tale. It's more like it's still kind of noticeable, but yeah. Luckily, the next 2 chapters, you actually get Momo doing something. Okay, let's see. You were a bit disappointed because, let's see, it became a slam, as we've seen like a few times before for Life. It's like with Sakura and the Punches. But we did get a bit of, let's see, but you did take out at least 3 of the members of like, let's see, of the other class, which was kind of cool. But I will say, yes, it was rushed. Let's see.
And it was off screen. That's the other thing. Like, it was cool to see, but I'm like, I would have loved to see that as opposed to being like, oh, like, starting off the chapter just right there. I'm like,
but let's see, clearly, let's see, the manga, Kohei was more focused on like Uraka trying to help Midoriya, let's see, in the beginning of this fight when he was losing control of his powers and stuff. Look, I will admit, I will say, at least with that scene, we got a reminder of like Uraka's parents, which is actually nice because for a moment I was starting to wonder if like the mangaka forgot about them for a second. But yeah. Ochako got some moments, which is nice, but they're more like baby steps. They're not like a full-on fight. We haven't got that next Ochako versus Bakugo moment yet, which is a shame because you could have had that with Momo, perhaps. But yeah. Now I will submit, I like the choreography with like Mineta and Ashido fighting the other class members for a bit. Though once again, Mineta is still a scumbag. It's like, let's see. Okay, this is getting out of hand now. Let's see. Like Mineta even complained after the fight. Now with the stuff with Midoriya, I think it was getting good, especially with like, let's see, that I particularly like that one panel where he's like, let's see, in a more, let's see, call it the Spider-Man moment for the moment. Though granted, you both kind of hated that. Though granted, I feel like the problem is the fight, let's see, just as when the fight was getting interesting, the fight ended just like a few chapters later, and it felt like it was more like just wrapping up than actually, let's see, doing it. Because I think the focus on this fight was more of Midoriya's new powers, the explanations, and the actual showing a fight. I think that was the problem with like the final round.
Are you saying you wanted the final round to be like a few more chapters? Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, if it means a better fight. Let's see. To me, this was a more like, let's see, this one was like, let's see, a tell. It was more of a tell than show fight. But yeah.
You don't say.
This one could have been more better handled if the fight lasted like 5 chapters instead of 3. Which you could excuse because, let's see, it's the main character. He gets the most focus when it comes to pacing and fights. But yeah, that's how I sum up the
Could
fight.
it at least be interesting, though?
Yes, interesting. You can make it interesting. Let's see, yeah, good choreography. You can have like, I don't know, choreography.
I think we had to start with choreography first.
Okay. Have it in similar manner to like the Midoriya versus Bakugo round 2. Something like that. I don't know. Or just like, let's see.
That's a good example, actually. I'll be honest. That's actually a pretty good example.
But yeah. Or let's see, with like Shinso, since he seems to be copying Aizawa's fighting style, actually have a bit more of that. Let's see him like throwing objects and all that stuff. But yeah. I was just say, like, let's see, some of the moves were interesting and the abilities. The problem was just the wrong focus on the wrong characters and stuff. With the exception of maybe Bakugo. That one was probably the best paced fight. Oh, and that was round 1 as well.
Yeah.
Let's see, round 3 was okay. Well, round 2 was kind of dull. And let's see, round 5 was better, but let's see, it wasn't really focusing on the fight. It was more the more controversial revelations about. Let's see.
Wait, what was your thoughts on round 2?
Let's see. I felt like it was the most boring fight of the 5.
Because it's literally nothing but side character.
Well, pretty much, with the exception. Well, granted, it was. Let's see. The highlight for me for that one was like Toriyama with his like bird abilities, shadow abilities.
Is it his name Tokuyami?
Tokiyami. Okay, sorry, I can't remember the names. They're so. Let's
Because
see.
they're forgettable.
Well, no, it's just they're so.
Oh my god.
They're so long. I don't know how to.
So long.
Okay, I don't want to.
Do you read Bleach?
Let's see. No. Okay, fair enough.
Great Joe Jagger Jack. Come on, Blue Star.
Okay, fine. All right, fine. But let's see. Look, granted, Grimjow actually. Okay, but let's see. I don't know. I guess it's just how do I say this? They're too hard to pronounce. I mean, let's see. Character, because like at least with Naruto and One Piece, you can actually let's see. Remember the names quite easily. I mean, like for One Piece, you have like Luffy, Zoro, Nami. Naruto, you have like Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. They're pretty easy names to remember. My Hero, not so much. They're a bit more harder to pronounce. Yeah, that's it. There we go.
Tokoyami, Jiro, Denki, Mineta, Bakugo, Todoroki, Inasa, Aizawa, who else is there? All Might, Midnight, Eri.
Okay, you clearly can remember their names a bit better than me.
I'm just picking on you. So, let's address the elephant in the room. A 6-pack of Quirk! Yay!
Oh, God. Or 6 quirks of OFA, whatever how you want to go with. Actually makes sense when I say it. But yeah, it depends where you wanted to take it.
Where do we begin with this? Where do we start?
Who wants to start?
Turns out with the stockpiling ability of like One for All has a bit more to it than we first realized.
Editor suggestion. I'm telling you, the editors came in and they said One for All is kind of boring. Can you add some spice to it? Add some black pepper. Seems like Kohei used a little bit too much of that black pepper, if you ask me. Like I'm just sitting here going like, all right, look, new quirks doesn't gotta go against what One for All is, kind of, but however, it could work. And I was like, right, I was like, cool. There, okay, so he has the black whip. Interesting. But then we find out from Hellboy, because we don't know those guys' names, either Hellboy or Funky. It's Funky, okay, fine, whatever. But the fact that this dude said, by the way, you are going to have 6 new quirks. 6. S-I-X. Sace. I don't know how to say 6 in Japanese.
Isan, Shi, Go, Rook.
Yeah, you have that, or if you want to go Hindi status, it's Che. So yeah, when you got stuff like that, it's like 6. So this man, our beloved main protagonist, our underdog, known as Izuku Midoriya or Deku, gonna get 6 quirks. Unfucking believable. Unfucking believable. Sparda. I know you want to say a lot about this, so I'll let you go ahead and start off first.
All right. So, 6 quirks of Doom, or 6 quirks of Path, or 6 Path of Quirks, or 6 quirks of One for All.
My pain is greater than yours.
So, where do we go with this one? Again, I know a lot of people jump to conclusion. I know a lot of people keep saying, oh my god, you can have master all 6 quirks. You already master ordered them by just simply have them. Technically he mastered them, is just held by limitation. But that's not my problem. My major problem is ruining the foundation that we once had. because it takes 213 chapters to get to this moment of revelation instead of happening much earlier or happening like in at least in the hundreds, something earlier. But instead, it happens right here, right now, out of all timing. Mainly because I don't know, maybe somebody finally convinced them. Listen, having one for all, just simply being a power boost, is not that exciting. Even though every other quest he has been doing in order to master it differently, because it is going differently. It's not going to be 100% identical to All Might, but apparently that's too much. So now we have a brand new revelation that he could do other quirks. Yes, I get those quirks came from the other users. Yes, I get the reason why he can do it is because One for All is getting too powerful, whatever some core crap, bull crap they come out with. It's obviously just come on the spot. And yes, I understand you could argue it was foreshadow. Not that degree. Because what was foreshadow is his communication with the users itself, with the previous user. There was no that was the only thing that they connect. That's the only thing you could connect, and that's the only thing we could get. And that would have been fine. It was fine enough for Deku to understand the origin of One for All and All for One. What's wrong with that? It was fine enough right there. It's like the Avatar. It's not like the Avatar is going to grant him all 4 elements on the spot. They could only communicate with him by telling him what he should do or when he asked them for suggestions, he's like, well, for me, I would just kill the man because he tries to destroy the damn world. Why not? That kind of thing. Only communication. But instead for One for All, it went to the point that he could use all the other quirks. Why it has to be that way? Because it probably wants to do more variety. It wants to be creative, quote unquote. And that's my problem too. When before this revelation, we had the idea that Deku is going to use his own mind, his own talent to make One for All work for him when he's still young, when he still barely could do 20%. And it's exciting because you could get behind him. When you see full crawl, it's like, oh, that's cool. Not only he changed his style, but it would differ from All Might, which All Might has said himself. Hey, I respect that you trying to be like me, but don't you think you should try to have your own style or something like that? Like, you know what? You're right. I should. I'm gonna be a kicker instead. And that's cool. I was like, yeah, you know what? I like that idea. I like that approach. It'll be different. Cool. And then the other idea, I could use 20%, but maybe not exactly my whole body, let alone my arm. Maybe I should do it like a flick. Cool. You have your own aerial attack. I like that. It's creative in its own sense. I like that. But now we have a quirk that pretty much says...
It was also very different from how All Might did his fights too.
Right. But now we have to accept that he gets 6 quirks. Not 1, not 2, not 3, 6. Which will end up being a very convenient plot device whenever the time comes. It was already convenient here by the fact that he stopped the pipes to the point that it scared off Shinsho away. Because he's like, holy crap, he stopped my attack. Well, I'm out. That was like, great, hey, here you go. Convenience timing. And it's funny because because if he actually kept going, it would not be as convenient. It would have been like, all right, now we're going to see a whipping match in a sense. Nope, it drained out because of his limitation, which begs the question, why did you even reveal this moment then? If he only could do it very short time at this rate? Is it because it want us to discuss about it? I guess you win there, but it sure got me discussing in a negative light. Same thing with a lot of people. And then now everybody's in a civil war of his own kind because everybody wants to be, oh, look at that. Fall downhill. Now Deku is a light novel protagonist, basically Kirito or any other overpowered character that never stopped being overpowered because why not? And you got other people that's like, oh my, huh?
Sorry, I thought you was going to be one-sided there, but I thought you was going to include like just the negatives, but you're including the positives.
No. Yeah, and the positive. We're like, and the positive. It's like, look at that. You thought he mastered. There's a repercussion. There's that too. It's like, who's gonna win this? Nobody's gonna win this. You got the negative that's being like, oh, damn, fuck this manga. And then you got the positive, fuck you. It's like, who's gonna win this? Nobody. All I know is that this shows me why I never really followed the internet community, because it's stupid stuff like this can really mess up the whole entire fun that we once had. I mean, it's already bad enough with the whole social justice mishap that out of all places, the color chapter cover, out of all places is there. It was like, oh, really? That's the problem? I didn't even see that problem at all. Well, the only thing I saw was like, look at that. Kohei must be super happy for all of us to vote for Momo to be in the top 10. Otherwise, it would be a sausage fest. And otherwise, it would not please him because he needs that fan service. Because not like all the volume cover.
Can I just say something quickly for life? I will say this.
Sure, I'm sorry.
In terms of what Kohei has done with his female characters in drawing wise in other chapters and even volume covers, this seems pretty tame in comparison. But go on.
But yeah, it's like Kohei's probably thanking all of his fans for having Momo at least to be in there, so that way he could have a fan service for his own being, for his own kind, for his pleasure. I don't know, whatever. Because clearly the volume covers, not volume covers, but every back cover of all the volumes so far doesn't have enough female in there to be satisfying. Especially the latest one where you got 3 of them. So whoopie-doo. But again, you go back to this whole situation with this damn 6 quirks. It destroyed the foundation that wasn't really broken. There was no, it's pretty much, if it's not broke, don't fix it. There was nothing to be fixed. And again, revealing so soon with a limitation that's so short is baffling, because it only tells me you're not going to think of more creativity with the battle. You're not going to tell me like, okay, I'm going to be like Spider-Man and then have some different choreograph, maybe with a flick, and then with this and that and the ultimate strategy, boom, I'm like very creative. You can't do that anymore, because you're telling me, oh, you got to be 100% in order to be 100% Spider-Man on steroid. But you can't even do that now. Oh, I don't even know how long can you do it. You probably could only do it for 5 seconds, but it doesn't have that much room for creativity. I see like Luffy going Gear 4 Snake mode and, wondering like, okay, not only he looks cooler, but I'm wondering why the hell it's called Snake mode. Then when he started attacking, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Everything is like snake movement. It feels like a snake, it acts like a snake, and it attacks like a snake. So it's actually pretty damn awesome. But now I'm seeing this new revelation about him getting 6 quirk with the first one being whip, and he can only do it like, I don't know, probably just stopping a barrel, pipes, whatever, with one moment and then just let it go. It's like a one trick pony, almost literal in a sense too. But again, it doesn't really leave any creativity now, because you only got room for one attack, more so than an actual quirk that you could be like, imagine yourself like, what if he could do this? Web swing, and then he does another web swing, he grabs the other one, and then he does a flick, and then he does a full crawl, and then boom, kick him right before he realized that Deku was already reaching to him. It's like, damn, that's a lot of cool movement right there. But you can't do that because, again, whip, and then he disappear. Or not disappear, but it will pain him. It's like, wow. So we're still limited. We're still limited from making choreograph interesting again. We can't even do that. Again, what's the point of introducing so early? Maybe the next arc he will start training, which I still would not find it to be interesting, because, again, that only tells me this arc is pretty much a side character. So you could tell us, hey, listen, I do side characters justice in your definition. So I'm doing this, and now you can leave me alone, because I'm going to focus on more main characters and maybe introduce more characters, new characters, because you never get enough of them. Even if Oda has told you single-handedly in the interview, don't do that. You'll be getting in trouble. And you still do that.
No, and he's not joking about that. Oda and Kohei actually did have an interview with one another. That did happen. So we're not exaggerating that part either.
No. Then, like, again, why is this needed? It never told me it should be needed. It never told me anything. By default, one for all for one, the new user, which will be Shigaraki, that just pretty much tell me he has to be way more powerful than all for one. All for one, the current user right now.
Yeah.
He has to be. If he's not any different, it makes no sense, because we just saw a handicap of All Might going against a handicap one for all. And I know they had a battle before, and I know, but it never really tells me in context, oh shit, if All Might was even more powerful, if All Might had more different quirks to stop one for all.
Yeah,
He didn't really,
it never
he
got to
struggled,
anywhere.
but
It was never like, oh yeah, like man, if only All Might had the 6 quirks. I never got that impression. Hell, and
like, yeah, exactly.
oh no, I was just gonna make the statement that like, if anything, having this kind of makes. I mean, look, the All Might versus All for One fight is still memorable. I would argue it's the best fight in the series, but having these 6 quirks now kind of dampers that a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but that's just me.
Not really. I still think it's pretty good. I don't think it really dampers it. It's just like, for me, it's just like something that was just unknown for like, let's see, One for All, really. It was like, this is just like its next stage of evolution. I don't know, but hey. I think, let's see, due to the fact, let's see, I suppose one explanation you could say that it took so long for this to manifest was because All Might got it, or let's see, was right 100% ready for the quirk as soon as it was transferred to him, while Midoriya, he wasn't quite fully ready. So it allows, so I suppose the quirk has more time to develop as like Midoriya's body is developing, but okay,
it's timing. That's the thing. It's just timing.
That's the important thing.
And I hope,
I feel like
if anything, and
probably would have been a bit more beneficial if like Midoriya's other quirks, or let's see, manifested during one of the earlier fights. Be it maybe the one against Gentle, let's see, Overhaul, or maybe even Muscular. I don't know. Maybe that would have probably.
It should have a lot more foreshadow. It should have more detail. Even the guy from Japan even said himself, was like, you know, if we're gonna establish this, shouldn't you develop it better? Like, shouldn't you give us a heads up better? And again, you can't use that one of like, oh, you see the shadows. Again, it was only meant for communication, and that would have been perfectly fine. It never told me that Deku is about to get extra quirks. Maybe if you would have showed a Black Whip like 100 chapters earlier, but like you would have been like, huh, that was weird. What was that weird quirk that we just saw? It doesn't look like something that we saw from All Might. Maybe that would have helped us, even though it sounds strange because I still prefer to be what we had before. But now we got to focus so many things to the point that maybe there won't be anything much more with the physical aspect, because now he's going to be like, oh, let me work on the whip. Oh, let me work on this second quirk, third quirk, fourth quirk. It's like, oh, okay, sure. But I kind of wish you did the usual past things. Like, I got to change his fighting style. I got to use a flick because that'll be my way for projectile attack. Something. But now we got to focus on the whole other quirks. And it's only done because I guess Kohei doesn't really know how to progress further without repeating itself, which pretty much is going to be a
To be fair, super strength by itself isn't necessarily all that creative when it comes to fighting.
But that's the thing. His choreograph could have could have benefited it. It's not like I'm asking Gintoki to start shooting guns. It's not like I'm asking Gon to start shooting weapons or start swinging like a kendo stick or something. You know? It's not like I'm asking these characters to do anything. Like Yusuke makes sense, like, you know, because it's like gun based, cool, and it's all spiritual, and it's still fighting, and it's still a lot of physical attack. But all those physicality, it had a lot of cool moments, a lot of badassery, and a lot of creativity of a choreograph, much like Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball, there's a reason why some people really love Dragon Ball, because when you get the bottom of it, when it comes to choreographed fighting style, it actually has a lot more to offer than just simply say like, oh, look, they're shooting beams and boom and bah. But when you really boil down, when you really take your time and look at it, you're like, damn, this is actually kind of pretty damn badass, pretty damn awesome. It's like, you know, you could still be offered with something amazing. That's the same thing for Naruto. Like, yeah, Naruto went over the top. Yeah, betrayed the ninja thing. But when it comes to like the physicality, it's like, damn, it's a lot of cool movement, cool way counters, cool attack. I mean, Kagebushi no Jetsu or Shadow Clone Jetsu should have been a entire thing, but they managed to keep it going to make it kind of fun still, remaining fun. The same thing for Rasengan. But you can't tell me what the whole
probably argue that the Rasengan got a bit tired during the war.
It did, but again, when it comes to the physical part, it wasn't boring. So
No,
why all of a sudden it applies to All Might or Deku in this case? Why it applies that now? It's because his choreograph isn't that solid. And that's the reason why a lot of people, there's a reason why there's these newcomers or haters, you want to call them, when they got to the part where All Might versus All for One, when it comes to the fight, this is the reason why you got some people to say like the fight sucked because there's no real physicality. There's no real like a real choreographed battle. It's simply punch and punch, and that is true. Yeah, like so with All Might versus One for All, like I know All for One versus All Might. It's hard to remember that. All right, when you have that fight, you got a lot of people that say the fight sucked, but it's the storytelling that saved the day because again, the story was the whole All Might's gonna fight until his last breath or until his quirk is 100% gone, his fiery spirit is gone. So that was the story, and that was fun. And but the when it gets down to out of context, and
I don't really see anything bad with the choreograph in that fight, to be honest. But anyway, go on.
It was just straight punching. But what saved it ultimately is the emotion behind the battle. With the whole like, listen, All Might, you're about to die. I'm still alive. I'm still around. Your precious people are gonna die. People are gonna lose faith because when you die, the symbol of peace dies. It's like, damn, so much weight on him. Everything is really depend on him. And he's about to lose because we know he's handicapped. He's like, fuck. And then you got the whole cheering part. It was like more, it was like, yeah, I'm very engaged with this battle now. But when you get to like fist fighting, it kind of sucked. I admit. But it still doesn't make the fight suck. It's just that part sucked. It's the same thing for wrestling. In wrestling, there was this match with Triple H versus Undertaker in a cage match, and I know you two are like, "What the hell he's talking about?" But if people knows wrestling, they had a Hell in a Cell match. They didn't do much of physicality, but they have a lot of drama in there. There's a lot of drama going on where you got his best friend who lost to this guy because when he lost to him, he lost his job. He put his career on the line. So it reflects that. And he decided to cheat because he wants revenge. It's like a lot of story right there. It's like, damn, he wants revenge, but he still cannot lose because this guy is the phenom. He's so damn powerful. It's like, how the hell can he beat him? That's the story. Even though it was like, oh, let me just throw one pedigree, one special move, one signature. But it's a story that saved it. And then you got other match like, I don't know, like Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. It's all physicality, but there's a lot of story going with it as well. That would mean that one of the best fight of all time because you got the best of both worlds, the storytelling and the choreograph. My point is, you could have a good fight based on storytelling, and that's what All Might versus All for One has. It just cannot be the best fight for a lot of people because it lacks the choreograph. Now, for a lot of people, will be if you like agree or not, is really Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki in anime form because the animation was insane.
It was.
The choreograph was crazy. You got a lot of crazy exchange, a lot of crazy teamwork, really astounding moments, and then you ended.
I also felt like a ninja battle for the first time in ages.
Yeah, it felt like a ninja battle. And then, to top it off, I know Boruto has to take the win, but it still had a lot of cool moments, and it had a really good ending where, like, pretty much a obvious symbol of passing down the torch, which is basically passing down the Rasengan. So you got the ending, you got everything all nailed down in one episode, and you felt 100% satisfied. That's what a lot of people would compare to because you got the storytelling and the choreograph. You got those two into the ultimate package. So you could do that still with One for All, but you're not. You go introduce a lot of plot conveniences and a lot of like one of those moments because we already established that Black Whip came out of conveniences because he started about I want to capture him. Oh, I got a Black Whip. And it's messed up because it's like
it's funny because it could have been used in the same way as like say like you remember the twist in Assassination Classroom with Kayano? Like that shit was like heavily foreshadowed, and none of us picked up on it until like the second it happened, and you looked at it, you're like, oh, holy shit! Like there's development right there. Like it's like you say, Matsui was like, building up to it, and Kohei could have done that. Again, 213 chapters. He could have easily foreshadowed it throughout the story.
If anything, this foreshadow is as much as credible as the one where Naruto was like, I gotta fight Sasuke. Why you gotta fight Sasuke? I should have to. Plus, I sense something. This happened all in one arc, which is unbelievable because that arc ended up being like 300 chapters long, but whatever. But then when you get to like 250 chapters later, which is crazy still, you'd be like, oh, that's what he meant. He apparently noticed that Sasuke is a reincarnation of his other brother. Okay. What? It's that kind of revelation. It's like, that's not that much of a foreshadow. That's not much have a ground. You telling me he could do 6 quirks now? Yes, I get it. These guys had quirks themselves. But still, it would never address that way. It was only addressed of him communicating with the previous one. That would have been fine. Oh, maybe now we could say like maybe the 2 shadows could be somebody very important that probably will negate somebody from the class 1A right now. Oh, for all we know, maybe it would be the ancestor of Bakugo. Won't that blow off everybody's shits?
Yeah, right.
No pun intended.
I just noticed that.
Let's see. Well, as personally, I'm not entirely surprised because, let's see, the ability does stockpile. But yes, okay, I wish there was a bit more earlier foreshadowing. But for me, this, let's see, revelation doesn't really ruin the series, as it's just more of like all for on evolving. Yes, I will admit. But I don't think it ruins the series. I'll say if, like, Midoriya gets his own quirk, then yes, I'd probably say the series is ruined because then you missed out the whole point of the character. But personally, let's see, I don't think him having like some of the abilities from like the other heroes at the time, which necessarily ruins it. Granted, perhaps it could have been a bit more, presented better. Because I don't know, instead of like just having like 6 new quirks, you could have like said like one for all was like extending some of the individual abilities it adopted from like the other quirks. Like say if one had like super speed, it's getting now a bit faster, getting some of the like similar movements it previously had and stuff. But I'm not sure if I'm explaining it well, but yeah, that's that's what I'm saying for now.
So it's like, watch. It's like, oh, we have 5 other quirks. What could the other 5 quirks be? One is it being like, oh, maybe you can like go back to the past.
I don't know. Let's see.
If we reach that point, dude, I don't even know.
I don't think we're gonna get any time travel quirks. At least, let's see. I don't think that's gonna be the case.
That would be insane if they even do that. But then again, what would and that's another problem. One for all enhance these powers. So that means he's always going to be broken. Well, Cyril, you're out of use.
Let's see.
And it's not repercussion. Repercussion means you have to pay a toll. This is limitation. I know you could say repercussion. Yeah, he gets injured. Like, well, same thing for the original one for all concept. Hey, I'm going to use 100% with my finger. Oh, I'm broken. See, that's
that brings up another point. It's Deku hasn't struggled in a long time. That's another thing.
Not let alone the battle. Like even if with overhaul, he's like, let me use a backpack, Eri. All right, and then he beats him. And then you got Gento. Oh, I beat you. Oh my God, you got the power of love. Oh wow, I still beat you. All right, you're going to jail. Whoa, Shinsho, you're running away. Oh, I got hit by double impact. Damn, what a weird concept of that move. But damn, I got hit by double impact. What are you doing, Shinsho? What are you doing? Let me do Psycho Crusher. There, you lost. Now, where do you learn? So that's it. That's pretty much Deku in a nutshell now.
Granted, I would want to see a bit more about the 6 quirks and how they work with each other before making an assumed judgment.
But it's not like it's not like like I said, when it comes to like, oh, he's overpowered, broken, even though a lot of characters, well, not a lot of characters, just 3 characters, 3 characters are leaving the wavelength of everyone else. Surely, but slowly but surely. I mean, take look at this. Shoto, he has a flame that's actually worse than Endeavor. Yeah. No, but hold on. Shoto has a flame that's worse than Endeavor. He still needs work, but that means he will be more powerful than Endeavor, which we just got back from the Pro Hero arc that he go against.
Life wasn't that the whole point? Let's see, of like, wasn't that the whole point that Shoto would be a more powerful than Endeavor? I mean, yeah,
yes, but it happens now. Everybody's not gonna be in the same wavelength. And Bakugo hasn't lost yet.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Let's see. Bakugo. Let's see. Not losing is a bit of a problem unless you count that. Let's see. First fight he had with Midoriya. I think he considers that a loss. But let's see. But yeah.
But that was so early on, though.
Yes.
Yeah. But here's the thing. In terms of raw power, Bakugo has it in.
Mm-hmm.
Shoto is still questionable. This is a reason why Shoto and Bakugo never fought each other. There's a reason why they made that story where Shoto didn't feel like fighting anymore. Just to avoid the answer to many questions. Who's better, Shoto or Bakugo? They never answer that. But it only keeps you the idea that these guys are way powerful than the other class in the other students in their class.
Mm-hmm.
Never give me the impression that the other classmates are really in the same wavelength.
Well,
and that's the problem. And that's the problem that people has, which it is still technically jumping to conclusion. Mm-hmm.
I do think Todoroki, the bird one, let's see, could potentially be on Tokuyami could be on the same league.
When he goes out of control, yes, but when it comes to like, well, he just lost, so it didn't really help me out to believe that. That's the problem.
I know.
He shouldn't have lost. If anything, he should have. See, that's a funny. Wait, let me see.
I will
tell me which.
I think this arc would have probably been a bit better if, like, instead of like for having a twist for changes, instead of like the let's see Bakugo and Shoto's group being like the ones that are like winning. Well, okay, granted, Shoto's was a draw. They were the two that actually lost. That would have been a bit of a surprise. I think that would have made this.
If anything, a lot of these characters has to pull a Choji coming from Tsunezem all the way to the Rescue Sasuke arc. Not exactly like, hey, everybody got the same butterfly mode. I'm not saying that. I'm saying a huge rebound that makes you say, this guy is cool, you know?
Okay.
A lot of characters has to get that. A lot. And no, you're not simply just fighting as one. You gotta flesh them. You gotta flesh them out. You gotta give me motivation. Gotta give me reasons to care. A lot of them don't have that, and that's the problem.
Fine. Let's see. Yes, there's a lot of work, but I'm not saying the series is ruined yet. Okay.
No, I didn't say that either. I just think they ruined the foundation that they had. Now we have to stick by this, and quite frankly, it should never be this way.
Let's see. Whether I think the foundation is ruined or not, I'm willing to wait and see a bit more. Let's see. Maybe I'm being optimistic. Maybe I'm not. Maybe you're being cynical. Maybe you're not.
Well, here's the other thing I want to address. Now you're taking away what makes Todoroki special because of Deku having the 6 quirks. That's the one thing I want to address.
The fact that he had a fusion of 2 quirks.
Yeah. What, you're telling me that what makes Todoroki special isn't gone now because of Deku being like, oh yeah, now I have these 6 other quirks.
I never really thought of it that way, to be honest. I never really thought about it that way, to be honest. But I don't know. Not really. I don't know.
Sure, it feels like it to me, but I'm trying to think if there's any more topics on the negative side, because I think we've pretty much.
Okay, let me just go ahead and run down quick. Fight size, characters didn't get fleshed out well. The revelation is the WTF at its finest. Close Ultra is being used in a very awkward way now, or more like cringy way. But well, you know, it's Ultra. So, more of the story: the arc sucked. Well, maybe not the worst. Well, it's the worst arc. maybe not the worst as in like, oh my god, we're awful writing, like every 100% awfulness. It's not 100% awfulness, but it's definitely the worst arc in the series so far. The arc was mediocre, average, maybe good as best. I mean, if you think it's the best arc, good for you. But for me, I thought this arc somehow managed to pull a hold my beer against internship arc, which is a huge accomplishment. This arc was just very weird. It was just very weird because it was just like it had a training. It was not the same as provisional license, final exam, or the other arcs. Instead, it ends up being a one large mess of a missed opportunity for everybody.
Which now brings us over to the positive aspect. Which, yes, there's some positives that this arc has. I'm not gonna deny that. Oh yeah, no, it was all bad. No, there was some good stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and address the little cameo we got of All for One. We haven't seen this guy since chapter, okay, pretty much like the ending parts of the provisional license arc. So seeing him again just briefly, like I was sitting there going like, oh man, I was like, man, I thought the series almost forgot about him. But we're seeing him again. He's like, huh, I can hear my brother's voice. Which when I saw that, I was sitting there going like, okay, that's hinting at something. If anything, I think that's hinting at his return. Whether or not that's next arc is yet to be determined. But that's one positive aspect I can say.
It implied to me that the two quirks, All for One and One for All, are a bit more connected than we originally thought.
Which, if you look at it in that aspect, and given what we got with the flashback between All for One and his brother, when you're doing that, that makes sense. What we got with the 6 quirks is like, what? So that's me. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. But what about you guys? Did you guys think that little part was?
Yeah, I like the 6. I like the flashback. I like the designs.
I heard that. I like the 6 quirks.
No. I like the 6 previous heroes' designs for most part. They're not like I thought they would be like sort of Superman-ish like figures, like All Might in a sense. But that's not the case. Some of them look like one of them looks like Hellboy, another looks like this sort of Aizawa kind of one. I don't know, this one with like the coat thing. And there's like 2 that are mysterious for some reason. I'm not sure what's behind that, but I suppose it's giving a bit more mystery to the series, which it probably needs at this point, given the fact that the Kohei seems to have struggled what to do with the series. After All Might and All for One had their clash. So yeah, I quite like that. I do, I did complain, I always say, earlier beforehand, I did point that out, but yeah, some of the character moments did work for me with this arc. I think the best character in this arc, the one that gets the best character would be Ida, since this is the first time we've seen him take part in action in a long time. I suppose you could argue since Stain, though granted there were like a few bits in here. With like the class against the teachers and maybe the hero license exam. But other than that, we haven't really gotten Ida getting any focus. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I suppose I do. There's some good teamwork with Bakugo and the people he was with. That was another thing I quite enjoyed. But yeah, I suppose going back to like the flashback with like one for all's like original user. With the way it was presented, it's like, yeah, we got a lot more to tell. Now, will some of this be plot convenient? Yes, I have no doubt this will be some of it will be plot convenient. But it's nice to know that there's more to the story than we originally we believed. And I suppose, okay, there's more to like 1-4 than we originally thought. Yes, in the negatives, for I've pointed out how it was poorly executed, should have been foreshadowed sooner, and depending on where you stand, it ruins the fundamental aspect of the series. But I do like that we are getting new developments with with what's been going on and stuff. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh yeah, and seeing Sinso was back was quite nice. I particularly like how they, let's see, with his quirk with like the speaker thing. It's like, okay, that's actually quite clever because now, let's see, it gives a sense of strategic, fighting. Because now like if you're like in a group, if you're like in a group in for the case of the heroes, or you need to figure out where to communicate each other, and the same with the villains. That you need to like communicate when you're going against Shinso, a way of communicating without actually speaking a word to each other. But yeah,
It's not the worst arc. It's not the worst thing that ever happened in manga history, but it's certainly a very disappointing one.
fair enough.
If there's going to be a positive, I guess the positive is the whole some of the aftermath, because at least we get some lessons learned for some of these characters, which is weird because Battle 2 should have been asking for aftermath, but instead it's like, well, Momo, you kind of screwed up there, but cheer up. All right, cool. And that's it. That was like very weak. And that made that Battle 2 even worse than it needed to be. So when you got Battle 3, at least you get at least you feel them in terms of like, damn, Tenya almost won. He could have done something more. Could have won there. But he failed. Sucks.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
Like I feel bad.
One thing I also remember that I do kind of like about this arc is a bit of continuity with the other arcs. We're bringing, given the fact that we've been building up, like some of like the world stuff from like outside the hero thing, we got a bit more of like Endeavor and Hawks, being relevant to this arc with like Tokiyami with his internship. We learned he was with Hawks, and we get a bit more of Shoto and Endeavor.
Which is kind of funny. Because I was hoping Tokiyami would be relevant in the last arc, but it was just.
I do feel like Kohei's still trying to build up a mystery about Shoto's brother, even though I'm pretty sure most people have figured out what's going to be.
I feel like it's pretty obvious as far as
yeah. I feel like he went off too much tangent to make it look like a big revelation, but now it seems like kind of sort of.
At least with the whole Toby fiasco, it may have looked obvious at one point, but managed to fool everyone to not thinking so for a while.
Like once you see not Tokiyami, once you see Madara, yeah. Once you see him, your answer to who's Toby is like 100% clear cut there, and that's Toby. Wait, did I say that? Obito, excuse me, Obito, and that's Obito. So it's like, oh, okay, going back to my first theory, Obito, and guess what? It's Obito. So it's like, oh, it's weird because all those hints or something like that just seems far fetched now. And now you really gotta do something that's very different to make the twist memorable in a sense. Because again, if you just tell us, oh, that's the brother, or even a friend that borrows his brother power, whatever, either of those two, it would just not that huge. You got to do something different twist. It would be like Attack on Titan, for example. I won't say it because it's still fresh to everybody, but in that twist, they didn't go for like I am the Mandarin style, and instead they went for like more sympathetic. But it was for the best because it actually adds way more than it could have been just like, I'm the Mandarin. And yes, I know what I'm saying. I'm the Mandarin. Ha, 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 ha. That's very ultimate cliche. So at least they find their way to make it different. And they actually did it much better than what it could have been. So now that's what My Hero has to do with this whole Dabi, who's the real identification of Dabi, But in due time, we don't know when that's gonna happen. But anyway, as talking about good things again, some of the aftermath is good, and the whole Shinsho thing is good. Actually, the whole Shinsho thing is actually good too. I'm lying about there's no positive. I'm lying about there's no positive. Again, I think the problem with this arc is that there's no real. Is that there's a lot of negative, but there's also a lot of average. As in, like, just a borderline, not good, but not bad either. It has a lot of that. It has a negative that stands out a lot, and there is a positive. There's also positive that you could say it stands out too. It's just that the negative in this case pretty much
It
outweighed
really
it for
shines
many
more
people.
here than it did in like
It shines
the other
more
arcs.
because it's like, yeah, it's like it depends on your end. It's like internship arc. Like internship arc is not 100% bad, but there's a reason why a lot of people really don't like that arc, or the reason why these people actually find it to be the greatest disappointment. There's a lot of things that could have been better, but it ends up going a different route. There's a lot of things that should have been shown, but it got skipped, or just didn't want to show it, or just don't want to care about it. There's a lot of things that could have avoided, but it actually went to that path that makes it very unlike its earlier days. So there's a reason for a lot of people why they didn't like that arc. I mean, you could like the arc because of the action, the set pieces, whatever. But there'll be always a reason why people don't like it. There'll be a reason why people like it. So in this case, don't be surprised to be like, oh, Joey Training arc is awesome. Like, yeah, okay. It's not to say like, oh, they're wrong. These guys are too crazy to think this arc is amazing. I mean, you only hearing from like us three guys. I don't know what the other two thinks of overall, but all I know, I didn't like this arc. I just thought this arc was just.
I give this
So-so.
arc 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. Which is my lowest score for My Hero Academia arc so far. The rest have been like 7, 8, 9, or 10.
In terms of my own rating, because everyone knows me, I don't do number scales anymore. But for me, it's okay. Which by far has been the lowest rating I've given to any arc in My Hero Academia. Other ones have either been good. Most of them, for the most part, have just been either great plus, amazing. I don't think we've hit break the scale just yet. Maybe except if I consider the Hideout Raid arc, sure, you could say that was probably a break the scale arc, but we haven't hit like absolute shit for My Hero Academia in terms of arcs. We haven't. Even at its worst right now with this arc, it's an okay arc. It's just that, and again, I stated this in my video that I did like just recently with My Hero Academia. If there's still hope, and what I stated in that video was the flaws are showing up more. That's the thing. I mean, I said this in the internship arc, but now it's like really like it's spreading like a virus, and you can't hide it now, guys. I mean, maybe like after the Hideout Raid arc, you could say like there's like minimal flaws, but there's not like anything like too major. But then we had the internship arc, and now we have this one. Like this one in particular too is kind of where it stands, but. In terms of like other good moments, because I didn't exactly finish up my thoughts on it, but yeah, the little cameo of all for one was great. Even though I wanted more from Ochiko, I did kind of like what she did, even if some of it was skipped. So
and for once, we got a new move set for her like fighting style, chopping.
Yeah, but
Baby steps, guys. Baby steps.
So
for 215 chapters, I'll take it.
No, but that's the thing though. Like it's like okay, because. Again, coming off from what she last did in the Bakugo fight, I'm expecting more from her. And again, you could have made that argument, say, early on in the series, but we are like already 216 chapters deep. So by this point, you should be expecting more.
I suppose it doesn't help the fact that, let's see, the internship arc battle she took part in happened off screen.
It's not just her. It was all four.
Well, yes.
Let me all four.
An
entire group.
Yeah. An entire group of female characters completely gone. All the boys, you get to see their fights, but the girls, nope.
Mirio!
Now we gotta talk about love.
Tamaki, good flashback. Nejiri!
That always stands out, and you can't tell me anything otherwise.
I first say one positive for this arc with the Ochiko is that we got to see a bit more of her parents. Again, we got to see her parents again.
One panel. Dang, you made it sound like that was the entire backstory of an arc.
I know.
At least we know that the mangaka still remembers the parents, so that we're hoping that. Let's see. At this point, he's going to develop more with them and Ochiko. Also, it was kind of nice seeing Ochiko meet a hero for the first time. So we got to see when that first happened and stuff. But yeah, her motivations to become a hero happened. But yeah, that was nice. But anyway, go on.
That was another thing I kind of liked too. Was the little flashback. I wouldn't say it's as good as what we got beforehand, but it's a neat. I'll give it that much. It's definitely neat.
Let's see.
I just wish you just get more other aspect of a character to be fleshing out more so than just about romance thing.
Honestly,
that's my problem for at the time being.
I won't say this. I probably should have said this during the more negative bit of the manga, but it's just like at this point, Kohei, just hook them up.
Honestly,
yeah.
Couple, just hook them up. Just don't do the they won't they. It's just not working this manga.
Because if you keep this up, and then it's always going to be the same routine. Oh, what are you talking about? I didn't do it for Deku. I'm bright red, but I'm not doing it for Deku. No. You know, it's going to be the same routine over and over again. You might as well just call it a day now, or give her a different aspect of the character, or go back to what happened to her old character about trying to get better because she want to help out her parents and stuff like that. Get that motivation coming back again. I mean, I didn't mind too much with the stuff about I gotta save somebody. That's fine. Kind of wish it was still more of a development style, more so than another trace that we missed out of her character. But it is what it is. My point is, her focus should not be just 100% romance, or should not be that. It has to be a little bit more than that now. I mean, like, I know we should not be comparing, even though we did a lot of references, but that's references. We're not saying like, oh, Naruto did that better, but we're doing a lot of references here. But what I'm going to say for comparison wise, well, maybe not. I try not to do much as a comparison because, everybody has their own style. But you look back in the other manga, especially, well, I'll just say it. You look at Black Clover. Noelle could have been, remain in this cycle of, I want Asta's, the D's, I guess you want to say. I want him. I want him. I want that. But instead of staying by that, they go other aspect of her character, making friendship, being best friend with somebody else from a different place, start working out her power techniques, start getting connected with the Black Bulls, and then on top of all that, finally show off against her family, the one that neglected her, and prove them wrong, prove them that she can still keep up, prove them that she could actually be strong, and prove them that she is not useless to them or to anybody. And that's great. It's a great storytelling. It's simple but great. So with Ochaku, you only got wanted to start making money because of the parents. She wanted to repay them. That's fine. It's been ages that we have last heard that. And then everything else is all about the romance thing. Even though she said, I'm not going to focus on that anymore. I'm going to focus more on the hero thing. That's what I should be doing. And yet she's still going bright red, and she always gets triggered whenever romance connection happens. Like, oh, no. Hasame and Deku? No way. No. You got those type of story. But we should not be seeing that every damn time now. We should start seeing that once in a while, once in a blue moon. Don't make it as a foreground. Make it as a background. And that's why I'm still not 100% convinced that he's doing properly with this heroine. I'm not convinced yet. Maybe next arc, maybe the arc after that, maybe whenever the time when Ochaku gets 100% focus or a major focus on a serious situation, I would be convinced. Maybe, just a huge maybe.
The only hint of promise that we're probably going to get with Ochaku is probably having a rematch with Toga at the moment. That's about it.
Yeah, but that seems like the final thing.
Yeah, I know. That's
here's another thing.
And it's still based on romance in a sense, but go on.
I don't know if Kohei's going to do this, but I would love to see like an arc just on Ochaku, outside of like the academy and all that stuff. That would be kind of cool. I think that would help like flesh out her character a lot more.
Heck, if you want, you can even do it as an old girls arc for change. Like have it like, yeah,
girl power.
I mean, do it like second ending for My Hero Academia, the anime.
Yeah, you can do that. Technically,
you don't remember, do you? For Life.
I remember it a little bit.
Second ending, you said?
Yeah,
like the second ending song.
Yeah, it was an old girls ending kind of thing.
Oh yeah. those bait and switch style.
Mhm.
Well, okay, it's not bait and switch, but it's more like those bait. Look at that. Look at Naruto. There's so many endings where we have a lot of female characters, and guess what? We didn't do jack shit for them. Those lies. But then we're getting talking about, I believe, 100%. And Kingdom. Well, actually, Kingdom anime is, yeah.
Judging by your reaction, it doesn't seem to be that good, but hey.
It's Tokyo Ghoul. That's all I can tell you.
Right.
So, Studio Period is doing it then.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that. Anyway.
Exactly. My point is, it should not just be
romance.
Fan service and romance. I mean, like, not everybody's in romance. That's an upgrade compared to Naruto. Thank God. Not everybody's into romance.
Oh yeah.
The other upgrade is
the only female character I think in Naruto that didn't have any romance was Tenten.
The forgettable one.
Tenten and Teyuya.
Okay, yeah.
Who?
Let's see, the Sound Ninja.
The sound ninja, the one who played the flute.
Oh yeah, Sound Ninja. Yeah.
He was cool.
Yeah,
she was cool. I
like her attitude.
I know.
And the technique she had.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean,
It's kind of sad she ended up being the best female villain in Naruto, but anyway, go on.
Hey, I like Conan, even though she became good, so yeah, maybe it doesn't count. But yeah. I mean, we gotta upgrade screen time and not being focused on 100% love for every single female characters. But now we need the backstory, fleshing them out, and have relevancy. That's the things they need right now. If they can fix that, we're on the good side.
Oh yeah, and stop having Mineta doing some fan service jokes with them, particularly like in this one.
Well, you can't escape from that. I love how some fans were like, "You ever notice that Mineta is acting very different?" What do you mean, sir? Well, the fact that he's not too pervy anymore. That's a very great detail that Kohei has done, and I gotta say, that is 100% amazing. Oh, damn it! When I read that chapter, oh, damn it!
Here's the thing I want to point out. I'm gonna laugh if the whole trader thing. If we find that out like soon, and we find that it's Mineta, like I am gonna laugh. Like what?
You thought I'm just a groper? Think again. I am an evil.
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, I think some fans won't really care too much because it's like, oh, good, that means we'll have the scumbag no longer doing fan service. Let's see, grouping.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
I just feel like that's what the fan.
Never thought of that.
I think that's what the fan base's reaction would be. It's like, okay, let's see. Thank goodness, no more groping. But,
I mean, look, Mineta's comedy was perfect, and like I didn't mind in the beginning, but then that's all he became, and I'm like, it's getting kind of stale now.
Not to mention it's getting kind of worse each time.
Yeah.
I'm still not over the airy comments.
Don't even remind me about that.
Sorry.
But and the other good thing is I like the way how this arc concludes. I think was nice. I'll say that.
Let's see. It's nice to know that Shinzo will be joining one of the two classes. Now, the question is which one?
I think it's pretty obvious. I think it's going to be Class A.
Yeah, because if it's Class B, he'll be irrelevant. But yeah.
Wow.
It's funny. It's funny because I said like
going like man, Class B, like it's going to be forgettable.
Let's see. I was making
It's funny because I actually said in my review, it's like the good thing. The other good thing is that at least he got enough qualities to be a hero and he could join the classes. That's cool. Now the question is what he's going to join. They never said, but we could have met. But it will eventually happen. If he joins Class B, well, forget about him for a long ass time. If he joins A, it'll be a less duration timing, but still be better.
I wonder if he'll be one of the first to learn of Midoriya's abilities. outside.
You have 6 quirk?
I would
How
put
dare
myself
you?
that you probably will. Maybe not right away, but
You
like
have
at
6
some
quirk?
given point.
You have 6 quirk? How dare you?
Monoma will easily catch on. I can already tell. I'll say that. For certain.
You mean the smart one, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let's see. I am curious. The one reaction I'm still curious about is maybe Uraraka. Let's see. Who knows? Maybe it'd be a good thing if she learns about Midoriya's quirk, so then they can have some confession stuff and maybe actually become a couple after that point.
No, but that's my thing. I feel like it should happen. Like after what Deku just displayed. Now, again, I have my stance on the whole 6 quirks thing, but after displaying that, I feel like you need to like bring her into the loop instead of just like hiding it out like you've been doing for like the last.
Yeah.
Series. I mean, again, only All Might and Bakugo know. That's it. Nobody else.
I think even Aizawa's getting a bit suspicious now.
Mm-hmm.
So, should we now talk about what we think is going to happen in the next arc?
Actually, I was just about to get to that. Here's what I think. I think we're gonna get a mini arc next. I think that's definitely gonna happen because the setup here is between Aizawa and Monoma. Aizawa's gonna take Monoma to go see Eri, so that automatically it's not gonna be a long arc, but it's definitely gonna be like a mini arc, maybe around the same length as, say, the remedial course arc between Bakugo and Todoroki, or the Endeavor arc. I don't think it's gonna be that long of an arc. So we're obviously going to get a mini arc. That much is certain, just out of like between Eri and Monoma. I think that's definitely going to happen. Now, as for the next big arc, I don't know. I want it to be... See, because my thing is, we haven't seen Shigaraki since 161, I believe. Or 161 of the two. So it has literally been like 50-plus chapters since we've seen it. Hell, it's been 50-plus chapters since the plot addressed it. And I kind of feel like so far for a saga that's called The Rise of the Villains, he's kind of just been treated as an afterthought. Again, like so far we're reaching the same amount of arcs that the beginning saga had. So it's kind of like, well, okay, Rise of the Villains. Where is it? You know? As far as like the next big arc goes, I hope the League of Villains come back. I really do, because they haven't had any spotlight. Again, okay, sure, you had Dobby in the Pro Hero arc, sure, but I mean like almost again like just mainly Shigaraki in general. I want him to be a prominent figure in the next arc.
At the moment, I feel like, let's see, I don't think we're going to get a prison breakout this straight yet, but let's see, but I do feel like it's going to come soon with like what we've gotten. Maybe like a chapter, maybe an arc or two first, but I definitely think this more like Eri and Momo thing is. Yeah, I think at the moment it'll just be an Aizawa and Momo thing, while at the same time we're going to have like Midoriya and All Might discussing with possibly Gran Torino about, let's see, Midoriya's abilities and stuff. I feel like, let's see, I'm pretty sure we're going to try and have, let's see, an arc where Midoriya tries to use 5 out of the other 6 abilities he's just gained and stuff. But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Prison arc, I feel like, would be an arc or two later down the line.
When it comes to the next arc, it should be, I guess it'll be, maybe if I judge it from the preview thing, according to the preview, it's supposed to be like, oh, Deku has a black whip. Now what he's going to do? Is he going to start training or what? Maybe that way to focus. Start trying to practicing on this quirk thing. I hope there's more than that. I really do. But we'll see when it comes to that. I think the next arc should be on the more of a dark situation, the serious situation. I just hope it's not 100% on Deku. It could be more characters, not new characters, more of the characters that we already know, and flesh them out more. Maybe we get something more of the League of Villains, I hope, because it's been ages right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted something a little bit more right now, more of something that you already have and something you could develop further, rather than try to add a new thing and then develop only the main character, the protagonist, and leave everyone in the dust. I hope that's not the case. That's the only thing I could wish for, because, you know, again, I'm still not in the all high mighty groove that I once had back in the 100 chapters ago, or more than that. I haven't felt that way in such a long time. So I really hope the next time we go back after this arc, if this next arc is a serious one, I hope after that arc, if it really is going to focus only on Deku, I hope after that arc, whatever it'll be a school training or more of a serious route, because it seems like a pattern training or school stuff.
Prison break. Prison break.
A prison break. It could happen in the next arc, but I mean, like, you know what?
I
Maybe
feel-
it should just better happen in the next arc, because just to get something exciting, I think that's what we're missing: excitement. I mean, like, if you find the older past arcs exciting, that's good. Personally, I just feel like they're not bad, but they're not that thrilling. They're not something that I say like, oh, it's great to be the fan of the series. I mean, like, yeah, you could be happy about being a fan, but it's like you kind of want that sensation that says like, oh, you have no idea, you guys are missing out the amazingness that the series is bringing up to you. You know, kind of like how Berserk have been saying, Berserk fan has been saying for their part. Oh, Golden Age arc. Oh my God, you have not seen what some
Honestly,
craziness. Yeah, stuff like that. You kind of want that sensation, that feeling like, yo, you gotta read this. I'm telling you, gotta read this. You know, that kind of sensation. I mean, like, yeah, it is popular, but that's not gonna help out anybody who doesn't like the series to begin with or doesn't know about the series. Unless the genre fits them perfectly, then that's cool. But when it comes to something that want to make you say like, "See, I told you you're gonna like it," or hell, you probably even love it more than me. So I don't have that sensation right now. I want that to have that right in a way. I just want the series to be exciting as the previous days, the old days, the 100 chapters ago days. That's all I'm asking.
would see. And as for like this prison break arc that Lucky Chi saw once, I feel like this is going to happen in like 1 or 2 arcs later. Not quite ready for that yet, but anyway,
we
go.
need the next hideout arc. Come on. Do not know how
Yeah,
long
during the
it's been since
prison
we
break.
had that shit.
Okay,
Come
what if
on.
the prison break happened in one chapter? Oh no, the Los Gigante. I forgot his name. The Javagante. He has a cool name. That's what I remember.
He does,
Oh
he
no, Gigante has showed up and he saved all for one. And that's the end of that chapter. Wait, no more? No more arc. No arc of this. You think you're gonna get an arc?
Oh, before we end up the podcast, I want to just address one because I know it's been something people have been discussing about practically since the end of the UA beginning saga. But do you guys think, in terms of quality of writing, Kohei hasn't exactly been on par with what he's delivered so far? And if so, do you guys think there's still room for him to kind of bring the series back to essentially what it was initially?
Yes, I think his quality as writing has gone down a bit. Whether or not he recover, I don't think it will necessarily be the full-on case, but I still think he can recover enough to get most people back on board with the series.
Like, I've noticed it since the internship arc. Yeah, I can definitely say that. Again, it kind of picked up a little bit. It didn't go back to what the UA beginning saga was, but it was kind of picking up with the Culture Festival arc and the Pro Hero arc.
Mm-hmm.
But given this arc, I definitely feel like it's definitely just kind of been going up and down, where it kind of goes up, but then it just kind of slips again. That's kind of what I feel like this, like how Kohei's writing's been so far. It's kind of just like going in like a loop, where it's like, not a loop, but it's like wiggly, where you're going up on a roller coaster. You're like, okay, so we're going a little bit up, and then you go down. It's kind of like that. Maybe a fair comparison would be Bleach after the Ironker saga. That I think that's a much fairer comparison. Is looking at, because when you look at Bleach, I mean, a lot of people want to argue, oh no, it was up to Soul Society, which I'm not going to deny that. But you know, Ironker saga kind of was the peak for Bleach. And then the Fullbring arc had some good stuff. But then it kind of had some stuff where you're like, okay, you could have done some things better. So I feel that's kind of where My Hero Academia stands as of right now.
So I feel like it's going to go down like that and then possibly rise up a bit and then all that stuff.
I feel like Kohei is struggling in the situation of like, what else you got? Because I feel like he used all his brain power or the one that he really wants to tell into this whole hideout raid arc, like from the beginning to the end, because everything felt like really good quality. Like everything was like really stellar. You got the whole, the really nice teary moment with All Might pointing you're next, and everybody's like, yeah, that's what you get, villain. You're the next one. You're gonna lose. But Deku is the only one that's really taken into a different meaning. It felt
And all of it's kind of been
powerful,
like
like, damn.
foreshadowed, and like all of it's been like building up. If that makes any sense.
Right. So it's like, damn, this is the new beginning. And then this new beginning has been a mishmash. So it's like, damn it, where's that real new beginning? Where's that real? Oh my god, everything's going crazy. You know, it doesn't feel like the new beginning feeling that I had when their Hokage died, and it's like, damn, what we're gonna do? We gotta get a new Hokage, and then Sasuke's leaving. What the hell's going on? And then there's Akatsuki. My God, there's too many crazy problems. When I'm gonna get a rest, damn it. Or the Marine 4 arc. My God, why? No, well, actually, more of show body arc. Oh my God, my friends, my comrades, stop them, stop it. Oh, I'm in jail. I escaped, but why Bone Clay has to die for our sins? No, I'm going to rescue Ace. No. You know, he's about to like seriously, how he's not Kaneki 2.0 at this point.
Seriously.
Like Jesus. But I guess that's the problem. You don't get that much of the aftermath that feels really like crazy. It just feels like pretty simple right now, actually. Like it doesn't give you that feeling like, damn, we miss All Might. I mean, yeah, it gave you that feeling earlier because of the whole we need a symbol piece. But after that, it's like, well, back to your daily basis, everyone. You know? So I'm just waiting for something crazy to happen again. Nothing has crazy happen. And even when it does, something else even crazier happen that makes it really, you know, again, the whole, look, I could do rewind. Look, 6 quirks of doom now. So that doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. Especially when you didn't present the villains as threatening at this rate. We haven't seen a threatening villain in a while. So
and
why introduce this concept before
like the last 50 chapters, give or take?
Seriously, he used to show up many times back in the first 100 chapters. When he first showed up as the very first introduction to him, you know, it was like, you got a crazy design, but he looks intimidating. Then you got him with the dealing with the stain thing. Then looking at the sports festival. At least make him watch something. Like, these characters are doing good. That Shinsho is actually impressive with his brainwash. Maybe we should capture him. Nah. Maybe I should do this. Nah. You know, something. Instead, it's like, instead we end up having a new villain that we don't even know, but they have to say it by saying it. It's like, let's go. Who's that person? I don't know, but it's a new Portal character, I guess. Oh, well, no wonder that Miss person lose already.
You're right. See, it's kind of funny. Even though I've already addressed my point, I think it would have been a lot interesting if, say, the Pro Hero arc was the arc that happened, like maybe after the Hideout arc, because you're immediately tackling like, all right, the new symbol of peace. Do you guys think the arc was misplaced in terms of where the series stands?
Maybe it should have happened before the internship arc, but I think the Hero Licensing Exam arc was kind of necessary to like focus more on the students.
Mm-hmm.
Because you needed, like, let's see, Bakugo, because like the whole Bakugo thing. Let's see, as it was getting quite clear that Bakugo was beginning to figure out more about what was going on between Midoriya and All Might. And you can't have to be absent for too long.
But that could be one thing where it's like, all right, maybe if this arc took place earlier, maybe it would have been better. I could say that. Now, the 6 quirks thing is a completely different case, but like in terms of like the Class A versus Class B content in general, maybe if it happened earlier, could have worked. But you could say, you know, it's like too little, too late. Or in my case, the arc has just been, you know, just wasted potential. That's honestly the best way I can say about it. It's an okay arc that easily has wasted potential. And that's honestly the best way I can go about it. And in terms of ranking the arcs, I mean, it's not exactly too different. Like, for me, it's still pretty much the same as what I said last time. Again, Pro Hero arc, Culture Festival, Provisional arc, internship, and now this. That's that. If you want my thoughts on where I rank the arcs now, it's not different. It's just that this arc is at the bottom low now.
Mm-hmm.
But what about you, Blue Star?
Okay, I think this is the weakest one. So if I remember being consistent from the last one, let's see, it's either Culture Festival or Pro Hero as the top, then Hero License, then Internship, and then this one. There we go.
What about you, Sparta?
Pro Hero, Culture. That's 4 arcs, right?
Yeah, there's 4.
No, 5.
Okay, kind of this one.
Provisional license. Yeah. Okay. So, Pro Hero, Cultural Festival, Provisional License, Internship, and then the joint training. I think joint training could be a lot of people's weakest arc in either just the saga or entirely.
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if it's either.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either, honestly. And I mean, honestly, I think compared to everything that we talked about, I think we've pretty much covered everything when it comes to the joint training arc. Again, it was a little different because we talked about the negatives first, and to be fair, there was a lot more of that than there has been in like any of the other arcs. Could the anime redeem the arc? Here's the thing: internship arc you could do. I'll argue you could do it with the internship arc. This one, though, my God, that's a tough act for this one at least. That's a super tough act to follow for this one. I do expect the pacing to be faster in the anime because, like, all right, yeah, we have again 3 chapters per round, so you get all 5 rounds in 5 episodes. Just get them done quick. Aside from that, I mean, look, it was a great discussion to have with the joint training arc. Again, despite us starting off with the negatives first and going off from here, it is the worst arc in the series so far. But that's not saying it's complete shit. It's just an okay arc with wasted potential. That's honestly the best way I can go about it. And with that being said, you guys, that is pretty much it. Sparta Blue Star. It was really great having you guys on board again, especially for this one in particular, because we've been building this up since the end of the Culture Festival podcast.
To be honestly, I found the ranting and rage against me to be a bit underwhelming.
Yeah, because we like you, Blue Star. We care about you. We rather rant on a fictional product than ranting on a person that has nothing but nice to us. So that's the moral of the story. We all friends. It's not like how the fandom in the Reddits, forums, or whatever they're legitimately killing each other through words. It's really bad. Really, really, really bad.
Hey, I know. Yeah, if you guys are on there, whoo, it's rough. It is rough. Very, very rough.
And I'm being attacked by somebody that doesn't like me at all. So there's that too.
But in terms of like viewpoints, yeah, we succeeded. We definitely succeeded on our points against Blue Star. So that's part where we're like, yeah. But at the end of the day, despite our viewpoints, despite this being Blue Star's favorite arc,
I told you it's not my favorite arc. No, man.
Best arc ever made.
Potentially the best arc in the saga.
Oh, I'm not going to hear the end of this, even though it's been 5 weeks.
Yeah. I will make the declaration and say the next arc will be at the rebound. I don't want to say that, but it will definitely be a big improvement over this.
So once if you're wrong, Lucky Jim, does that mean we get to roast you for that statement?
I think it'll be an improvement. I'm not saying it's going to bring My Hero Academia back to form. That's not what I'm saying.
It's not hard to do. It should not be hard to do.
No. If it is, then we can say faster than post Sasuke retrieval arc. Other than that, you guys, that's pretty much it. I'm Lucky G7.
Sparda3g.
BlueStarSaber.
And we will catch you guys next time at some point in the year when the next arc concludes. Or hell, when it even starts. So, yeah. Take care, guys.